Hello, if you can hear me, please say, what's the next thing? I gotta wait. Killer fish. And then I will know that you're safe and not being attacked by killer fish. Vavaroy, killer fish. All right. Sounds like people can hear me. Really, really good to know. I'll be just talking to myself otherwise. That's not good if I talk to myself. All right, let's see. Today's day 20, as I reckon, day 20 of our Final Fantasy IV translation comparison. First set. We're gonna do another set in a few years probably, so this is the first set. All right. Today we're gonna be doing some loose lines above world, and then we're gonna finally head underworld. We're going to go to the Dwarf Castle and do a couple things there. There's a lot of text there. There's the whole developer room that is there. There's going to be a lot of stuff. So it's just going to be, we probably won't make any progress. We probably won't leave the Dwarf Castle, but we'll see stuff. And it'll be kind of interesting. And as I recall, this is especially when the J2E gets kind of off the charts crazy around this point. It's been getting crazier and crazier, but now it gets really crazy. All right, a couple things I would like to look at before we begin. Let me get that ready. Slideshow off. All right, there was a interview that Ted Woolsey did, I don't know, like 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago now, I don't remember. He wasn't, Ted Woolsey wasn't like heavily involved with Final Fantasy IV in any way, but he talks about like what the situation was during 4. So I thought we would look at that now. On the screen, I have part of the podcast interview. This is from 15 years ago. Let's see. Okay. So I guess the interviewer is named Chris. Chris asks, so what was Square's localization process like before you got there? And Ted Woolsey says, they really didn't have one. They had a person who spoke some English, and she did her best with Final Fantasy II, which was her game. I didn't have a chance to work on that game. When I talked to the guys that had hired me, the senior VP and then the finance guy, they basically had spent some 24-hour blocks of time late into the evenings trying to rewrite the text as best as they could without ever having played the game. They found so many issues with the screen text, when they started reading it, they figured they should take a shot at it. So it was a mess. I think that's why Sakaguchi-san and others said, hey, we need to try to fix this. I was brought on board and it turned out I got to do an awful lot of things. But certainly the main focus for me was to look at the manuals and the screen text and translate those things. Okay, I guess someone else named Greg is chiming in. Just to clarify for people, did you do anything with Final Fantasy II, or was that mostly done by the time you got there? So Ted answers that was all done. In fact, at the time there was about there's about a 2 or 3 month manufacturing process to have all the ROMs created. So ROMs in the sense is like the cartridges, like the manufacturing for the cartridges. They were being manufactured and the manual was all done. There were some spectacular boo-boos in the manual. One of the descriptions for a magic effect was Blows Wizard, as opposed to Blows Blizzard, which it should have been, or something like that. So there was little things along the way. Because the Super NES was launching and they wanted to accelerate that, Nintendo said, okay, let's just get this thing through. Once you get one of these games through, it's pretty hard to go back and start massaging the screen text and other parts of it because things just break so easily. All right. So that's the deal with why there's like a first draft that we've been seeing in the Final Fantasy II for Super NES text. Like there's some like awkward, clearly like non-native speaker writing. And then other times there's like cleaned up text that's clearly been improved upon. So we kind of have like a, mishmash of draft 1 and draft 2, I guess we could call it. So this was the state of translation at the time. Back in the day, it didn't sound like there was a lot of care about like getting it translated. It just needs to be translated. And around this time, I guess this game is when it started to make sense to the devs, to the business people in Japan. Like, hey, we should start to pay more attention to our translations. And so then they hired Ted Woolsey, and then he went on to do couple games for them. All right. So while speaking of Final Fantasy II and America and all that, I was looking through one of my old magazines, and I found actually an older magazine than I had before. Let's take a quick look at some stuff in it. Here we have, well, I gotta make this bigger so I can see it. We have a little, there's a big old article where they are reporting on things in America, at America's CES, I think, in 91, something like that. So there's a lot of them looking at American stuff, and they're like, whoa, that's so weird. And one that really stood out to me was RPGs are struggling in America. I guess I can kind of paraphrase what's being said on this article here. After looking at the sales charts above or whatever, you might be like, huh? What's the deal? Where's the RPGs? Japan's all about RPGs like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. But they're struggling in America, it seems. Dragon Quest 1 and Final Fantasy 1 were both published by Nintendo, and Dragon Quest sold 700,000 copies, and Final Fantasy sold 800,000 copies. But compared to Japanese, the popularity of those games in Japan, it's like nothing. You still have a long way to go. And so starting with 2, Dragon Quest 2 and Final Fantasy 2, they're going to be given to Enix and Square to handle themselves, but it sounds like it's going to be rough for them. And then, I guess you can't see where I'm pointing, but the bottom sentence there is saying, I guess maybe American people just don't understand the fun of RPGs or something like that. All right, and then we can see this top image is showing that Dragon Quest was called Dragon Warrior here. And then we can see also a package of Final Fantasy 1's box art. And then we can also see Final Fantasy 2 for NES, it looks like. But that one never came out. It's one of those sort of where is that prototype right now, ROMs kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that that art is now well known, has been found or something, right? But it's neat to see Final Fantasy 2 for NES art. Okay, then that third image is saying that oh, they're at the booth. There's two companies, or the two rival companies are friendly sharing the same booth. And if this was Japan, it would have a huge line here. There'd be a huge gathering right here. But it's strangely lonely and sad looking here in America. Hopefully this won't affect us in Japan, although that's unlikely. That's what it says there. Okay, so it's a look at how Japan is reporting on the state of RPGs in America back in, I think this was 91. All right. This same set of articles also mentioned the Mario movie that was coming out soon. Mario's going to have a movie. So I'll just do some paraphrasing of this too. So Mario's popularity is crazy. Mario 3 was the top selling game in 90. In 91, it was Dr. Mario, or that's one that we're all looking forward to. Dr. Mario. There's Mario merchandise everywhere, selling everywhere, and they're even going to make a movie. And so apparently, it's saying that Danny DeVito is scheduled or set to play the main character, and that it's supposed to come out next summer. So 92, summer of 92, I guess. I don't know. And then in Japan, I guess that means we'll see it at the end of that year, of next year. And it's going to be a live action film, of course. So I didn't really remember Danny DeVito being touted for this. Is this, I assume this is well-known info by this point. But it was interesting to see. And they're talking, there's Danny DeVito over there, and they're talking about how he was in the big hit Twins movie. And then we can see that booth full of Mario goods there. And they're like, look at all this stuff. We got t-shirts and electric toothbrushes and phones, Mario phones. So this is them talking about us, rather than the other way around. All right. Well, yeah, I forgot to mention this the other day when we were fighting Golbez, or Tello was fighting Golbez. There's a line in the DS version that stood out to me. I don't know at what point this happens, but Tello shouts in English in the DS version, Your words are as twisted as your soul. And this seemed to be pretty clearly not a direct quote, but what do we call that? A tribute to the Castlevania Symphony of the Night line. Your words are as empty as your soul. So we can kind of see how the DS translation has a little bit of a fun side to it. As I recall, there's some more like pop culture references maybe hiding underneath if you look. I haven't really played the DS version too much. Tribute. Alright. Okay, I think that's it for the intros, so let's begin the game. Oh, yeah, I'll just show it off while we're here. Alright, let me make this big. Big. Okay. Gotta turn it up so I can hear it. Alright, let's go. I did do that programming I mentioned the other day. I finished it just like 30 minutes ago. So let's see how it works. I kind of want to show it off. It will slow down things quite a bit, but let's take a look. Alright. So we're fighting some enemies out here. I paused it. You can see on the sidebar now, it does give HP, experience, and gil. It lists that info. I also list the items that you can get. I want to point out that when this first item here, the first item on these lists, is the one, like you can steal it, and it's also the most likely to drop too. And then after that, each individual item is like less and less likely to drop. Once there is a drop, like it calculates that. So this is most likely, and then kind of downwards from there. The cool thing is that this kind of already hooks into my text comparison thing, so we can see how the easy type has changed. So right now we're looking at the Hell Needle enemy, and as noted before, that became Nutsuno Nezumi, like the horn rat. But this thing also lets us see that it used to have 398 HP, and that got changed to 300 HP, so it was reduced for easy type. At the same time, its experience went from 700 to 1210, so it's like easier to kill, and you get more experience. And then we can see that their item drops are different. These are the Ogi no Sho. Those are the random summon items. They'll do like a random summon item. I didn't know that those were still an easy type. So hopefully I didn't program anything wrong. And then we can see it on all the different versions. We can see that the Super NES version has it, so it follows the easy type stats, like 300, 1210. All right. There's another thing I wanted to show off. What does item cure 1 mean on Super NES? That's just the cure items. Let me do this. So here we're looking at the Kate Sith monster. And we can see, just from a quick look, we can see that this HP of 342 up here became 285 in Super NES. Experience of 820 became experience of 830. Gil very slightly up. I don't know why they're changing numbers like from 252 to 255. That's kind of silly. All right. But there was one more thing that I wanted to show off about these. We have to fight the proper enemy. Yeah, some enemies won't drop anything, but it'll still show up on there on the sidebar as having something. I want to get to those wood enemies, I think, the wood eyes. I need to find those. Alright, here we go. Alright, so here's an issue that I noticed last night as I was programming this stuff. As we know, the Super NES, or the naming away version, is based on the Super NES ROM, which means at some point someone had to go to the Super NES ROM and just type in all the new stats and all the new weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. It's like a lot of manual labor. And we can see in this entry right here that there's a mistake. So we can see the wood eyes, they drop 687 experience. And then we can see that in J2E it's also 687. But we see that there was a typo in the naming way. They typed it as 678 rather than 687. And I bring this up because that means that there's probably other mistakes like this that exist in the naming way data, which is based on the Project 2 data. So it's probably recommended for the people involved to go just double check all that stuff. Make sure that you got all these numbers right. You might be given some weird numbers in some places. All right. What do we got here? We're looking at the death beauty. When experience went from 650 to 960. HP went down a lot. I can kind of see all these differences. Kind of neat. And then the J2E, usually it will just have like the new text names for the item drops, but so for the most part, every time we fight an enemy now, J2E will pretty much have something here. And probably up here too, on the easy type. Alright, so that's what I wanted to show off. I want to show off that stuff. Alright, first I want to go in here and then we want to talk to the priestesses. Because we left that unfinished last time. Let's be Sid right now. Okay, we're walking up to the priestesses. Okay, I think these are going to say the same thing. Alright. So there's 8 priestesses. We're going to go clockwise starting here. I think this is how we did it last time. Alright. We got a new text. It sounds like these priestesses have new text. So, Kristaru wa yotsu ijo aru to iu wasa ga hontou naraba mada nozomi wa aru wa yo. So kind of not polite necessarily text, not super polite, but if the rumor that there are more than 4 crystals, if that rumor is true, then there's still hope. That's how that goes. Super NES. If the rumor is true that there are more than 4 crystals, we still have some chances. That chances is kind of funny. I won't mark off, but that could be, just change that to hope. Nozomi, wish, desire, hope, prospect. Someone was pointing out, I think on YouTube that, or maybe it was on my site, that this dictionary that I'm using, this drop-down dictionary, there's an updated one and I'm using one that's like way outdated now. I gotta figure out how to update that somehow. Oh man, I gotta close that window in a minute. Alright, so Super NES is good. J2E. If the rumor that there are more than 4 crystals is true, then there still is hope left. Okay, good. Alright, nothing major in the old patch. Naming way. If the rumor is true that there are more than 4 crystals, we may still have a chance. This exclamation is fine, is very emphatic here, this wayo in there, even if there's not an exclamation there. This is another case where like punctuation doesn't always equal the same punctuation, it doesn't have to. I gotta close that window before the sun melts my eye. I think this is JM Dict, I'm not sure. It's all based on like a Rikai-chan, Rikai-kun script, and I did all that hacking like almost 10 years ago, and I don't remember how I did it anymore. Alright, pretty good. Everyone got that pretty good. I'm impressed. Alright, Priestess 2. こんなことにならないようにクリスタルはあちこちに分かれていたのに。And that's saying the crystals were all split up all over the place to prevent something like this from happening to begin with, and yet ... That's kind of how it feels. There's no ... but that no ni here kind of has it, and yet. So the crystals were separated to prevent this from something like this from happening, and yet. Alright, Super NES. Crystals were all kept separately to avoid this kind of situation, but ... Okay, pretty good. J2E. The crystals were scattered across the world to make sure that nothing like this would ever happen. I would have liked that and yet to be in there. I would have liked that Noni to be in there. Because she's talking about the current state of affairs now. I won't take off a point, but I'm going to give it this. Naming way. The crystals were kept apart to avoid this very situation. Okay, let's get into it pretty good. That's a good summary there. Okay, Priestess 3. クリスタルが奪われた。早く取り戻してよ。So a very unusual speaking style. Almost like just I don't know, just an average person, average woman today. Not like very polite or anything like that. This ta is a little emphasized in here, and it was kept that way in the easy type. It gives off a feeling of like maybe a dialect or something to me. So the crystals were stolen, or the crystal was stolen. You hurry and get it back. Like kind of a pushy way of saying it in Japanese. Super NES. They took it, then get it back. Clunky, but it's all in there. I would have liked crystal to be in there. That's like one of the main words. I'll say it's fine. J2E. The crystal was stolen. Don't just stand there. Get it back. Okay, that's the kind of pushing this a little bit. Kind of neat to see J2E not have a previous change there, you know? Alright, naming way. The crystal was stolen. Get it back. Alright. Priestess 4. Suchi no kristalu ga nan to yu koto desho. Okay, a little more polite person here. All these priestesses in Japanese, they don't speak all with the same tone of voice, basically. Some are casual, some are more manners carrying. So the earth crystal was? Oh, what a state of affairs, or something like that. Nan to yu koto desho. I doubt that will show up on here. Yes. Alright. Super NES, that becomes, oh no! Our crystal. That no is all caps. Our crystal. I'm gonna let this one pass. J2E. The crystal of earth was stolen? Again? That again wasn't in there. He used to say, the crystal of earth was taken, good God, with a capital G. That was better. Well, I mean, the good God part is a little weird, but it would still fit. This again is wrong. I'm gonna mark that off in there. Naming way. Oh no, the crystal, ... Man, okay, it's fine. Priestess 5. Yori ni yotte jaku na mono ga kristalu o soreru to wa. To think that the crystals would be collected by an evil person of all things. Of all things, it just had to be an evil person who collected them all. Kind of very emphatic about this too, in this delivery. Yori ni yotte. Of all things. Super NES. Why are the crystals in the hands of an evil one? It's weird, but I'll say it's fine. J2E. To think that some evil man is gathering the crystals. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just inserting man in there like that. It doesn't say man at all, just mono, which is like a person. Where's that third one there? Person. And since this is already like a very like feminine nation, that has extra weight to it. That's not in the original. I'll mark that off. Alright. Naming way. So the earth crystal has fallen into the hands of evil. Alright, so here is Soro Eru is to gather all, to like get a whole bunch of them. To have a bunch of things in. So not just one crystal. So I'm gonna take off here. It's not the earth crystal, it's all the crystals. Or just multiple crystals. And I don't like the delivery there either. But this fall into the hands of evil is probably better than what I'm seeing in these. So everyone's got their like pluses and minuses. Okay, Priestess 6. Toroia no sonshitsu yorimo subete no kristalo ga sono Golbez ni watatta koto no hou ga jutai desu. Ooh. Sonshitsu, that's like the, what is that? Yeah, that's what I thought, but, alright. More importantly than Toroia's loss is the fact that all of the crystals have fallen into Golbez's hands. The fact that all the crystals have fallen into Golbez's hands is far more distressing. Judai, serious, important. It's much more serious matter than Toroia's loss. Sonshitsu is the loss of like asset or profit. So we lost it, but the fact that it's in this guy's hands is much worse. Okay, Super NES. It's not that we lost the crystal, but the problem is that Golbez has it now. It's weird grammar and kind of clunky, but the point is being made. Judai is like, I would say it's more serious. It could also have like, it could be improved a lot. Alright, J2E. Golbez getting his hands on the crystal is a lot worse than what will happen to Toroia without it. Alright, Subete no Cristalo. So Subete is all. Here it's talking about the crystal, so I'm more confident J2E there. Naming way. First the Dark Elf, now Golbez. Grumble. No, that's not how that is. Alright. Next one. Alright, this is the second to last priestess. Looks like we have an easy type change on this one. Kristaro o soroeshi mono wa osoru beki chikara o eru to iwarete oru. Kind of a fancier way of talking. Wait, how is these other ones talking? While I'm here. Hard to say on that one, but it sounds like kind of educated. This one is good manners, decent manners. I mean, this one feels, I get it, just sort of a tiny bit of an age, feeling of an age on this one. Kristaro soreshi mono wa. So the one who gathers the crystals. It is said that whoever gathers the crystals will obtain dreadful power. Osoru beki. Dreadful, terrible, horrible, deplorable. Oh yeah, okay. So in the easy type, they just changed the sort of semi-classical style soroeshi to soroeta, to sort of like modern Japanese. So I guess kids could understand it better. As it is, it feels a little bit more like kind of like the thee and thou English soroeshi mono. It just feels like that kind of older style. Alright, Super NES. So remember, she's saying that it is said. This is something that is said. Super NES. One who has all the crystals will acquire the mightiest power. Dreadful is what it needs to be. I guess it could be mightiest in some ways. It's weird. The whole sentence is kind of, could be a lot improved. J2E. It's said that he who gathers all the crystals will attain incredible power. I tried to avoid this phrasing just now. He who, because this is a kingdom or queendom or something. It's ruled by women. And there's no gender in that mono. So I tried to avoid that. But it looks like J2E didn't really, it wasn't important to them. Every translator is different, so I won't, it's fine. It said that he who gathers all the crystals will attain incredible power. I would like that to be scarier than just incredible, because Osoru is to be afraid. Osoru Beki is dreadful, terrible, horrible. I would like that to be stronger. Like it's a thing to be feared, someone gathering them all. Naming way. The one who acquires all the crystals will obtain fearsome power. Okay, so here they've avoided the gender thing with the one, which is pretty good for mono. The one who acquires all the crystals will obtain fearsome power. Fearsome is really good here. I would have liked it to say, it is said that. Iwara te oru. It is said that the one who acquires all the crystals. I'm gonna let them be okay with that. I like hearsay. Hearsay needs to be hearsay. Alright, this last priestess goes, Taihen! Toroia dake janaku, sekai ga abunai wa. That means like, oh no! Not just Toroia is in trouble, but the whole world is. Alright. Supunias. Oh my! It's not only us, we are all in a crisis. Okay, it's pretty weird saying not only us and then we are. It's not only us, we are all in a crisis. Yeah, this feels very first draft, as like I pointed out at the beginning of the stream when Ted Woolsey was talking about the state of affairs at translation-wise before he joined. This feels like the clunkiest first draft writing. Alright, J2E. Oh no! It's not just Toroia. The entire world is in danger now. Alright. Anyway, it's not only us. The world is in a crisis. This tie-in. I really would have liked this in here. It's not really in there. Alright. Like you can see the formatting. It's unusual. They didn't even fix that for the easy type. Alright. Next. What, are you okay? Alright. So I think that's all we have to do here. There's one place I want to check in the weirdest place you won't think of. Alright, we're heading over to here. Right? Is it in here or is it the other one? Yeah, okay, so we're back at the underground water, like way north of Kaipo, with the big old waterfall leading down. Alright, so Cecil says, Nagare ga kyūdei haite ikenai. The flow is too strong, we can't get it. Like, we can't go in. It's too strong. I guess the current, you could say. Supernias, the current is too strong for us to get in. J2E, we can't enter with that flow. Feels like it could be like a hacker sci-fi line, a naming way. The current's too strong. Okay, those are all fine. Yeah, finding the obscure lines is pretty much like my favorite thing to do. I don't think there's anywhere else to talk to, right? You know, we already talked to this guy. Let's see. Did we go back here now that we have Yang? Okay, just to be sure. Now that we have Yang in our party, I want to see what they say. Okay, we've already seen all that. Yeah, I want to check King's wife, and then I'm going to check the king, but the king probably won't change what he says. Okay, yeah, this is the same. The Yang's wife stuff is the same. Yeah, she just hit people with a frying pan. Alright, then that means that the king probably won't change his text either. My assumption is that the king will just have the same text. Alright, it's the same as before. Let's get out of here. Oh, I can't do it that way. This game is weird with where it will let you do like the exit spell and where it won't. Or the teleport spell, or I mean the Dijon mustard. Alright, so we're gonna go to Agart. We have to check the telescope because I still have not done that. On our way. Not there. Alright, now we're going to go to the telescope. So I was wondering about this actually. Like they were talking about how the moon is turning red, like blood. Then when we go to the moon, there's nothing there. Like it's just gray. So what the heck? Okay, we're looking now at the telescope. We're looking at it the proper way, which is from underneath the telescope. Any other way is blasphemy. And I think the GBA version takes that out. So the GBA version has to go to FF4 Hell, which is just the underground. I wonder if I can hack that. Is there like a scaling happening on that? Can we hack it so we can like zoom in on it? That would be neat. Now to do what we're here to do, which as I recall is here. You have to take this magma stone and we have to drop it into that place. Going to the well, that's an Agart. Oops, I can drop a cottage in there. It doesn't take it away from me. It comes back up, I guess. Alright, let's use magma stone. Oh, the sky is turning red after we dropped the special key into the well. Well, it might not be an actual key. And then Cecil says, Nanda, and there's like, what's that kind of feeling? Supernia says, what? J2E says, what the? And then Naming Way says, what's that? So everyone kind of says it differently. I kind of like how that's turned out. If I can make it happen, I'm going to do a screenshot. Will it work? Hopefully it worked. Uh-oh. We've just destroyed this whole town, maybe. It's shaking, the whole place is shaking, and everything's red and crazy. I still don't know how people got in here before. They were talking about how airships were going in there before. Alright, so the mountain outside started to have some crumbling happen, crumbleivably. Alright, we can no longer like interact properly with the well. It just says it looks so deep it's bottomless. So does anyone say anything new here? It'd be very... No one seems to care. Alright, and so that big old mountain that was just north of the town is now like a big mountain with a gigantic hole in it. You would expect that maybe there'd be like air pressure differentiations. Okay, we're going into the hole. Now the cutscene is taking us. We're zooming through what looks like the overworld, but it's not. It's the underworld. And the water is lava now, so it's yellow. And the land looks dark. Alright, so as we're zooming through the underground, a cutscene starts, and the party is on the deck of the ship. Cecil shouts, Arewa, what's that? Kane shouts, Akai Tsubasa, the Red Wings. Alright, there became, what's that? The Red Wings in Super NES. Okay. J2E, what's that? The Red Wings. Naming Way, what's that? The Red Wings. So they're all good. naming way just looks like maybe it's pulling straight from Super NES. Everything is matched just right. Give it. All right, we cut back out, and we see our airship is in the middle of a war or battle between a bunch of red airships on the right side of the screen, and then a bunch of tanks on the left side of the screen. So we're in the middle of a battlefield. Just explosions happening everywhere. I like that they have tanks ready to fight. Alright, it looks like we have an easy type change waiting for us. And it looks like we have some J2E nonsense possibly. Yang shouts, Hitoashi osokata. We were one step too late. Let's see how this goes. Super NES, we are late. That's fine. J2E, we're too late. Like, we were almost made it in time, but just barely too late is how it feels in Japanese. Alright, that's fine, but naming way, that line is missing, so I'm taking off the point on naming way. And Cecil then says, Tatakatteiru no wa ... question mark. So who's fighting? In Super NES. But who's fighting? Okay. J2E. But who is it that's fighting the Red Wings? The Red Wings changes things a bit. I'm gonna take that off in J2E there. There used to be just a U in there on the old patch for some reason. Alright, naming way. But who are they fighting? I like the idea of, like, we don't really know who's fighting who. So I would have liked this better as, like, but who's fighting? But I'll say that's fine. Sid, what is the change here? Okay, yeah, Sid shouts, Hey, Kyoko Toppasuru. He's like, Urgh. Or just like a whatever, like it's a whatever feeling. Like, ugh. We're gonna push our way through. We're gonna force our way through. Shikari tsukamatore. Hold on tight. Or it's weird enough that you could probably like bend it into something fun in English, like hold on to your butts. Alright. Sid says in Super NES, we've got to get out of here. Hold on. I'll say it's fine. Uh-oh. What are you doing here, J2E? So J2E says, damn, we're getting hit hard. We're going down. Hold on. Alright, no, he's saying we're busting through. Kyoko Toppa, we're forcing our way through. We're gonna bulldoze our way through. Alright, so damn is wrong. We're getting hit hard is wrong. We're going down is wrong. Hold on is correct. This, yeah, I'm gonna take off a point on Super NES because like we're pushing our way through. Alright. Naming way also I'll take off that point. The easy type says A, and then it just says Toppasuruzoe, so that we're gonna like bulldoze our way through. They made it to simplify that down. We're like, we're gonna bust through. We're gonna push our way through. Toppasuru. Yeah, they just took out the Kyoko. Here we go. Yeah, why doesn't we never use our cannons on this game? That could have been a good mini game. Okay, the ship is now getting hit hard though. We're pushing our way through, but it's not working so well. Okay. Sid then shouts, Itaika Enterprise. Shinbo shite kure. Does it hurt, Enterprise? Just hold on. Just hold on a little longer or something like that. Or like hang in there. That's kind of how it goes. He's asking if it's painful for the Enterprise, because remember Sid thinks that the Enterprise, or in all the airships are like are living beings, living creatures, you know. So does it hurt, Enterprise? That nuance is missing in Super NES, because that line is just missing. J2E. Does it hurt, Enterprise? Hang in there, baby. Daddy's here. This daddy's here is not needed. Hang in there, baby's fine. The daddy is a little too much though. Alright. Naming Way doesn't have the does that hurt? Alright. Cecil then shouts, Ochiru! We're gonna fall, we're falling, something like that. We're going down. Supernius, we're going down. J2E, we're going to crash. I'd say that's fine. Naming Way, we're going down. Alright. And it looks like we are gonna crash. Okay, so the screen has turned black, and a voice is now shouting. It's Rosa's voice. She shouts, Seshiru! And then that is appropriate across all versions. It's one of the few times it ever happens, so... Now we're back to the cutscene. It looks like we're on the ground, and Cecil is just like coming to after passing out. We're still on the deck of the ship, but we're not flying anymore, apparently. Cecil looks around and shouts, Rosa! That means Rosa. And again, this is all conveyed pretty well across all versions. Good job, everyone. Cecil looks around some more and says, Minna Bujika. Is everyone okay? Supernius. All okay? With the capital O in there for some reason. And this is all on its own text box here. Cecil's line. J2E. Is everyone okay? That's fine. I took out the dots for that though, it looks like. Just these dots in there, like where he's like hesitant. As he was just looking around or putting his thoughts together. It's hard to say. But that's missing from all versions. His delivery. Alright, but it doesn't matter too much. Is everyone okay? That's fine. Naming Way, is everyone okay? Okay, that's fine. Next text box. Sid says, ah. That means yeah. Jaga Enterprise ga ikarete shimotta. ... But the Enterprise is messed up. Is all messed up now. Kono mama tobu no wa kiken jana. Flying like in this state would be dangerous. His ikarete shimotta has such a strong, fun dialecty feeling in there. He definitely feels like he's from like Western Japan. Sid, especially with his washi and stuff. Shimotta, like usually we would say ikarete shimatta. Alright. Supernius. Yeah, but the Enterprise isn't. It's dangerous to fly on. Alright, I'll say that's all fine. J2E, yeah, but the Enterprise is shot. Trying to fly it would be dangerous. Okay, that's good. Naming Way, yeah, but the Enterprise is busted. She can't fly like this. Ooh, nice. Putting that she in there. Give you, there you go. All right. All right. Next line. Cecil says, Shikata nai, ... orete mio. We have no choice, or it can't be helped, ... Let's get off and look around, or let's try getting off and see what happens. Supernius. Let's get off. That first line would be nice, so I took that off. Supernius just now. J2E. Well, what can we do? Let's get off. Shikata nai as well. What can we do? That's pretty good. I like that. There's a lot of ways to translate shikata nai. Doing as it can't be helped is like the easy first step. A lot of people will stick to that and not go any further. Naming Way. Let's disembark. That first line I would like. Alright. Everyone has now merged into Cecil. We are now on the overworld. And we are now in the underworld. Underworld on top of our airship. Alright. So I was told that if I do this and have King jump first, it might make the next thing easier to do. Let me do a save state here. We are in the overworld and we are in the underworld. When you think of it as in the programming sense, we're not under anything. We're just on a different map with different colors. Alright, I can't step onto my airship. Yeah, I really like how this is sort of a variation of the main overworld. I wanted to see what enemies are out here real quick. Alright, let's take a look at the enemies. Alright, we have what looks like goblins, but they're pink, or not pink, they're purple. Purple and dark colored. In Japanese, they're called Goburin Kyapu. So that probably means like Goblin Captain. Like short for Goblin Captain. That became an easy type, Kira Goburin. So Killer Goblin is what that became. It looks like it got some experience change there. Alright, in Super NES, that becomes Dark Imp. That's pretty good because they are dark looking. J2E, Goblin Cap, period. And then we have, anyway, Goblin Cap. Yeah. Okay. Next enemy is Kuro Tokage in Japanese. We might have seen this before. This is like a black lizard, is what that means in Japanese. It has some stat changes and things. But otherwise, it's the same name. That became Black Liz in Super NES, Black Liz in J2E, and Black Liz in anyway. I assume we met this in maybe the Tower of Zot. And then we have the Amudomamaru. Amudomamaru. What was that? Yeah, I'm not familiar with Amudomamaru could mean. But that name changed in easy type to Ishi no Yoroi, which means like stone armor. Oh, I see. Armed mammal. Mamaru, maybe. Amudo Mamaru. Armed mammal? I don't know. But it gave everyone the idea that it's probably an armadillo. Because in Super NES it's armadillo with one L. J2E it's two L's, and the naming way is two L's. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I don't really have an answer at the moment. Alright, let's fight these enemies. Yeah, maybe they changed it from Goblin to Imp to avoid the D&D stuff. It's hard to say. They're pretty blatant sometimes, though. I'm just smashing that attack button. Smash that like button and subscribe and hit the bell and the notification and the mirror and all your lights in your house. Alright, Sid is slowly getting stoned. It's okay. At his age, he probably needs help. Alright. Get some stuff. Now let's get in. Let's go in there. Let's go inside. Alright. How should we do this? I'm gonna do everything that I can before we go to the king. Is that okay? It might be a long route. Alright, so we're now in the... Let's look at the name of this place again. Alright, Dwarf no Shiro. So the dwarf's or Dwarves Castle. Dwarf Castle, something like that. Castle of Dwarves. This became Castle of Dwarves in Super NES and in J2E and became a Dwarven Castle in naming. I wonder if my dictionary brings up dwarf. Yep. I want to talk to the first couple. And the thing is that all these dwarves in the underground, they say lali-ho, ladi-ho is their phrase, is their greeting, ladi-ho, lali-ho. And this was lali-ho, translated as lali-ho in almost all translations of FF4, except I think in the PlayStation 1, it became rally-ho, rally-ho. And then I think that also there was a reference to this and what is it, Final Fantasy 9, because it was full of references, you know? And I think there it was also translated as Rally Ho. They're probably done around the same time by the same people, maybe? But it seems like everything has settled back on Lally Ho. I have no preference. It makes me think of Holly Toto. Okay. This other dwarf says GBA version also changed it to Rally Ho. Alright, we'll see that in 100 years when we do the next set. Alright, this other dwarf says Koko wa Giotto o ga osameru Dwarf no shiro. This is the dwarf castle ruled by King Giotto. So Giott. Sometimes you'll get the toe sound. Oh, it's not doing very good there. This little toe right there. Sometimes in romanization, or like reverse romanization, I guess, it can also sometimes be a D sound, like it could have come from a D sound. So this could be the name Geode. At the very least, it's Giott. I don't know if it's anything, but this is definitely a G sound, a J sound. In Super NES, it's King Giott. And when our crazy language has this as it could be a G sound or it could be a J sound, but in Japanese, it's definitely J. This will be a reference. J2E. Oh, wait, let me read this. Super NES. This is a castle of us dwarves ruled by our great King Giott. So great isn't technically in there. I won't mark up on that, but there's no great in there. And, yeah, okay. J2E. This is the dwarf castle ruled by King Giott and uses a J. By using a J, it makes it very clear how to pronounce it. Unless you're like coming from a Spanish or some other language. This is the dwarf castle of King Giott, it used to say. Naming way. The dwarven castle is ruled by King Giott Lali. So we can see this as Lali is not in the original. But as we'll discover, a lot of the dwarves will add Lali at the end of their words, or just randomly in their words. So this isn't out of touch with anything, it's just, I don't know. They're kind of being careful and considerate of the situation. I don't know if that makes sense. Alright. Third soldier says, Golbez waru yatsu. Demo antara soja nai mitai. Golbez is a bad guy, but you guys don't seem that way. Alright, I need to point out that the dwarves, besides speaking with the words laliho a lot, in Japanese they tend to emphasize some of their, they hold their vowels a little bit, especially their ending vowels on words. So waru yatsu became waru yatsu. A little bit of a dialect feeling comes from that, like their own unique speaking style. That falls out of the translations, as we can see. That vowel holding. Alright. Super NES. Golbez is a bad guy, but you seem different. You could be in plural or singular. I would have liked to say you all, maybe. J2E. Golbez is a bad guy, but y'all seem to be pretty nice. They did the y'all in there. It's not out of place to do y'all. He used to say, Golbez is a bad guy, but you all seem to be alright. So it used to be you all, and then the updated J2E goes to y'all. Y'all is fine for these. They're in the south technically. If we say south is under the earth, but But y'all is pretty broad nowadays in America. Okay, naming way. Golbez is a wicked human, but you seem different. I don't. The tone on this is very not right. And the delivery is wrong. Like his vocab level is like pretty low. Waruyatsu. Wicked human kind of breaks that. I'll take that out. Maybe that's coming from a 3DS version or something. Alright, fourth soldier out here. Giotto o ni ao to I. So he's holding his E. It's already kind of being held, but then hold it a little longer. Yeah, this long vowel mark. Usually only in katakana. Here we see it with hiragana, which makes it even more unusual and unique to these dwarves. I should mention now that all of these dwarves in this castle, they have their speaking style, but once we can go there, there's a town far to the south called Tomura or Tamra, and they have their own like dialect of this already dialect. So they have a like double dialect going on over there. We'll see that in about 3 to 4 weeks maybe. So this is saying you should meet King Giott. So Super NES adds the lolly ho in there. That's fine. It's probably maybe compensating for this long vowel mark. Then it says meet King Giott. Okay, that's fine. J2E, go see King Giott. Naming way seems to pull from Super NES. Lolly ho, meet King Giott. Okay, that's all fine. Let's go inside. Alright, so let me talk to her. This is Luca. This is the king's daughter, right? And she's running around frantically as we step into the castle. She says, Watashi Luca. So she uses watashi. Watashi is like the standard me. It also means slightly feminine me. Watashi Luca. Watashi no oningyo tachi ga inakunachatta no. I'm Luca. My dollies have disappeared. And she speaks with them in the way that they're alive, possibly. Inaku nachatta no. Instead of just naku nachatta no. It could have been that way too. Anyway, she sees them as living things. Anata tachi shiranai. Have you guys seen them? Alright. I should point out her name is Luca, but with the L and R thing, it could also be Ruka if you wanted it to be. I don't think anyone ever does Ruka, but it's a possibility. Okay, Super NES. I'm Luca. I can't find my dolls. Have you seen them? So the idea that she sees them as living things is kind of falls out of translation, but everything else is in there. I like it. J2E. I'm Luca. My dolls have disappeared. Have you seen them? You should say, my dolls disappeared. Have you seen them? Or you haven't seen them? Naming way. Hi, I'm Luca. Without the exclamation. I'm looking for my dolls. Have you seen any Calcobrena? No, that's not good. Alright. So that's a hint for later. Alright. We have two like guards guarding the way to the throne room. Alright. This one says Laliho wa Dwarfu no aikotoba. That means Laliho is the dwarf's like aikotoba can mean password or watchword. It can mean a couple other things, but basically it's the word everyone says to each other. And you can see the vowel extender in there. Right. Super NES. Laliho is our password. J2E. Laliho is the greeting of the dwarves. Aikotoba. I'm gonna mark off in J2E there. And also a naming way. Aikotoba could mean like if you tried really hard it could mean greeting, but not really. There's other words for greeting. Aisatsu. Aisatsu would have been way better. So naming way says Laliho is our greeting. Like in Final Fantasy II, like the actual 2 for Famicom, the password that they had was Wild Rose, right? Nobara. And here it's Laliho. Alright. The second one, yeah, it is pretty insecure password, isn't it? They didn't have data protection strategies back in the day. All right. This other guard says "Go ishoni," and so being quite polite and saying "Let's do it together." Say no, that means ready, go. Something like that. Lally ho. So it's kind of saying like join us, join in as we say it together. Lally ho. How that goes. Super NES goes together with no period. 3, 2, 1. Lally ho. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, the say no. I doubt this will even show up on here. The say no. When you're like counting down to do something, you're about to do something, you can just say no, and then do it. 3, 2, 1 is, I guess, how they decided to do it. In Super NES, that's fine. This together is kind of weird. Oh, I should mention that I did indeed fix the script issues with, at least with Naming Way, when it wouldn't show up some item icons. It'll have the asterisk now. I've improved that too. Okay, J2E. Everyone together now. 3, 2, 1, lally ho. Used to say 1, 2, lally ho. Naming Way together now, lally ho. So they took out this say no. I'm gonna say it's alright. We have another like quickly running dwarf. Giotto o ga omachikane. So that means King Giott is waiting. He's waiting on you, kind of. Omachikane. Okay, Super NES. King Giott is waiting. Day 2 week. King Giott's waiting for you. In Naming Way. King Giott awaits. Those are fine. Alright. What about the slower dwarf? What are you doing over here, dwarf? Lally ho, buji de yokatta. Lally ho, I'm glad you're alright. Super NES. Lally ho, I'm happy you're okay. Day 2 week. Lally ho, glad you're alright. Naming Way. Lally ho, I'm happy you're okay. Then there's this other guard over here that is blocking the way up these stairs. So let's see what he says. Koko wa daiji na heiya. Haicha dame. Speaking with that unusual style. This is an important room. You can't go in. That's how that goes. You're not allowed in. This became in Super NES. These two lines became authorized dwarves only. It doesn't say that's an important room. Take off that point. J2E. This is an important room. You can't enter. So the fun, weird phrasing is missing. I won't mark them off just because I don't think they understood. Naming Way. Authorized dwarves only. Okay, so marking off on Naming Way on that too. I'm assuming that guy was happy to see us okay after seeing us like crash. I'm assuming they saw us crash. Alright, another guy's blocking the way in this other room. And it says the same thing. I won't mark off because it's the same line. Saying like, it's an important room, you can't go in. 5,000 gil, yay. Here we go. This dwarf says, Dwarf no item, fushigi. Ningen ga tsukai konaseru kana? So dwarf items are strange. Strange or mysterious. Fushigi is always like fushigi to translate. They're just unusual, they're mysterious, they're curious. Curious is probably good. Dwarf items are curious. Can humans master using them, I wonder? So basically, he's wondering if we, because we're humans, if we're even able to properly master using them. Super NES. Dwarf items are strange. Can you use it? Okay. I would have liked it to have mentioned humans. Wait a minute. Naming Way has no text here. It might be a mistake on my part, but let me write that down. This could be a mistake on my part. Oh, you know what it is? They probably moved this line to a different text bank on Naming Way. Okay, let's see. 22730. Naming way. So what I have to do is I've already kind of taken care of this on other lines, is I have to redirect. I have to find where they are in naming way and then like kind of tie the loose end into my code manually. So for every time naming way has to do this, I have to do it manually myself. Because I can't check it right now, I'm not gonna mark off on it. I could try to hunt it down right now if I wanted, but it's too much work right now. Alright. But I want the humans to be mentioned in Super NES. I'm marking off on Super NES. J2E. Dwarven items are mysterious. Can you humans use them? Used to say dwarven items are mysterious. Would humans be able to use them? Let's see. Okay, if I do some extra work, I'm going to do a little bit of extra work to try to find it right now. I have to open my text editor and then look at naming way. I gotta go all the way to naming way. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing it this way. Okay, alright. Alright, well there's one character here. It says, dwarven weapons are heavy as lead. I doubt humans can even lift them. But I don't think that's the one. Okay, yeah, I can't find any more. Take that off, go back to the game. I'll look up that later. Yeah, I thought that was from the other guy, yeah. Alright. This guy's blocking the way downwards. He's saying the same thing. Okay. Oh, yay. I'm gonna sell all of my crap now. It's finally happening, you guys. I get to sell all this crap. Alright, selling the gold needles, selling those. Selling the mallet hammer things, maiden's kisses, eye drops, antidote, diet food. I think that's all I need on that, right? So that. I'm just getting all my stuff ready because we're gonna have some party changes coming up. Alright, now. Alright, I just bought a lot. Spent a lot of money on 30 potions. I'm gonna have to do my tricks later. I'm gonna sell my hammers. I'll worry about that later, I guess. And then, what's this guy selling? Is it the same stuff? Oh no, this is different stuff. Oh, neat. I guess there's a cross you can buy. I forgot that there's a cross item in the FF4. I guess that cures curse, but isn't curse like only temporary? Alright. And then this guy is 600 gil? No thanks. Oh no, he's going down in there. I can't get him out of there. I'm kind of upset that my money is this low again. I'll have to do my tricks later. Alright, so we've got everyone that we can talk to. So now we're gonna do the king. We're gonna talk to the king. Before we get started, because a lot of stuff is about to happen, I'm gonna take my quick break right here. And then be back in like 4 minutes. See you in a second. Let me bring up your fun time. Okay, I'll be back in a second, you guys. Should be back. Yeah, I remember this part of the game. You need a lot of money. Luckily, we have some tricks we can do. I do want to do that Golbez trick where we get the crystal. I'm going to show that off, and we're going to have to do a save state at that point. So we're going to have to remember to redo the points when that time comes. Alright, let's go. We're walking up to the throne room. No one was in the throne room, so I just left. Understood. Now we gotta walk forward. Alright. Party has unfolded. And whoa, there's a big text box coming up. Good thing I took that break just now. I have to be careful not to press buttons. There's a lot of text coming up. This part's gonna be a little tough. Alright. Dwarf King says Buji dattaka. That means, he says, go buji dattaka. So he's being polite and saying, you're all right. Or I see you're safe. So you're safe. Alright, Super NES. The king is just called King, or instead of Dwarf King, it's just called King. But that's fine. Then it says, glad you're fine. That's not very king-like from what it sounds like. What is the easy type changes here? Nothing major in here. We'll see that later though. Glad you're fine. It's kind of weird, but it's alright. J2E. Dwarf King says, oh, you're alright. Okay, that's good. Uh-oh. And naming way. So you're unharmed. It's a little cold. But I'll say it's fine. This calls it king also. Cecil then says, Anatawa. And you are? It's kind of like a little stronger, like a little maybe ruder than I would have expected for the situation for Cecil to say this. So it's interesting to see the Super NES translation go extra polite by saying, may I ask who you are, sir? And I'll say it's good. J2E, and you are? Naming way. May I ask who you are, your majesty? He just answered his question. What? Why would you do that? It's pretty like strange manners for Cecil to have said that in Japanese there. I don't really know. Maybe I'm out of the loop or something. Alright. Next line. The Dwarf King says, Watashi wa kono chite sekai o osameru dwarfu o Giotto. I am the Dwarf King Giott who rules this underground world. Yeah, it's just that. I am the Dwarf King Giott who rules the underground world. Chite sekai. So you guess he rules the whole underground world. Super NES. I am the King of Dwarves, Giott, and the ruler of the underground. Okay, it's all in there. J2E. Dwarf King says, I'm the leader of the underground, the Dwarf King Giott. Alright. Naming way. I am Giott, King of the Dwarves and ruler of the underworld. That phrasing almost sounds like he's like, I don't know, Hades? Ruler of the underworld. I'll say it's fine. Alright, Cecil then shouts, Yami no Kristaru wa? What of the earth crystals? Or like, what's the deal with the earth crystals? Super NES? Have you still got the dark crystals? Yeah, so I was saying, like, as for the dark crystals, is what it kind of means in Japanese. Have you still got the dark crystals in Super NES? he's very emphatic. A little bit less in J2E, where he says, "Where are the crystals of darkness?" Like he wants to know the status of them, because he wants to know if Golbez has them all or not. Alright, so he's very hasty here. Yami no Kristaru wa. And Naming gets that hastiness wrong by saying, "Your Majesty, where are the dark crystals?" But I'll say it's fine. He's just asking about the dark crystals, so we'll say it's fine. And then now the king is now called Giotto in the script. Yahari sono koto de kinasutta ka. So that's why you are here after all. So that is why you're here after all. Something like that. Yatsura no nakama ni shite wa hougeki o ukete ota. You were receiving. You were also being hit by their attack, so it wouldn't have made sense to be partners with them. It's kind of how he's saying, for you to be partners with them, you were also receiving the attack. That's how it feels. All right. So this part where he's saying, "Oh, so that's why you came after all. So you were here about that after all." That's Messina Suprenius. J2E seems to go the wrong direction, so that's what they came for. Let me look at that word again. Kinas. Well, they didn't change that. I need to type that word. That's interesting. All right. Let's see. The second line about like you also had been attacked. Alright, so let's say you came for the crystals, and the Suprenius line here is this Yahari sono koto de kinasutta. We'll say that's what that is. That means that this next line is what was Messina Suprenius, so what I marked off just now, that's what that was for. Alright, so J2E. So that's what they came for. That one's not right. You thought you were with them, but then they shot you down. Okay, that's kind of what it was pointing at. Naming way. So that's why you're here. But clearly you're not friends of the others. I remember the DS version has some really funky grammar in here, with some like negative verbs being negatived or something. It was real fantasy style. I'm glad Naming way like simplified it here, but clearly you're not friends of the others. This is all the closest. I would have liked it to have mentioned that due to the attack you received. You're not friends of the others due to the attack you received. But we'll say that's fine. Alright. Next line. Ware mo ayauku uchi otosu tokoro jatta. We too almost shot you down. Nearly almost shot you down. Alright, Suprenius, that line is missing. J2E. Actually, we were about to shoot you down ourselves. The grammar on this feels a little off. We nearly shot you down too. Not like we were about to. Mark that off just in case I forget. Okay, that line about we almost shot you down too is missing on Naming way. Kane then says, "Shite no kristaru wa mada buji nanoka?" Are the underground crystals still safe? Alright, so Kane's line is missing in Suprenius. J2E. Are the underground crystals safe? Okay, good. Naming way. Are the dark crystals safe? Okay, it took out the part about them being underground, but that's fine. I don't think that needs to be restated here. Next line. Giotto says, "Zannen jaga yotsu no uchi futatsu wa yatsura no te ni watatte shimatta." Unfortunately, of the 4, 2 have fallen into their hands. Alright. Super NES. I'm afraid 2 out of 4 have been taken. Okay. J2E. Unfortunately, they've already gotten 2 of the 4. Okay. Anyway, I'm afraid 2 of the 4 have been taken. Alright. So then Yang says, Yahari mani awandaka. Is that where we get that change there? Yeah, okay. And then in easy type, that changes to Yahari mani awanakataka. So we didn't make it in time after all. We were too late after all. Super NES. We're late. We're late. Alright, I'll say that's fine. It's kind of funny because we didn't make it in time. We've been having closer. J2E, we're late. Naming way, so we're too late. That one's the closest of them. Let's look at J2E. What funky stuff are they up to, if anything? It looked like everything was going to be okay here. Alright, let's close that out. Where are we on this? So I want to see where we are. Alright. We're about halfway through this. Giott responds, Shikashi, kono shiro no cristalo wa mada bujija. However, the crystal of this castle is still safe. Super yes, but the crystal in this castle is still safe. J2E, but the crystal in this castle is still safe. Naming way, our castle's crystal remains safe. And in Japanese, he continues, Dwarfu Sensha Tai ga nantoka oikaeshita. So the dwarf tank unit, or the dwarf tank squadron, managed to fend them off, or like send them away. So those things are called dwarf tanks. Dwarfu Sensha. And that tie makes it like a battalion. That tie here. It's telling you about Sebream in there. That dictionary. Right, J2. Oh, wait. Super NES. Our tanks turned them away. What does it manage to turn them away? Like, a feeling is only for now. Alright, J2. We managed to drive those contraptions back with the dwarf tanks. Technically, this contraptions isn't in here. J2E. I'm gonna allow it because of what's about to happen in the text. All right. Then naming way. Our tank battalion repelled them. Okay, that one's probably the best. Rosa says, Saki hikute to tatakatte ita sensha desu ne. Those must be the tanks that were fighting with the airships earlier then. Super NES. We have seen your tanks fighting against the airships. I would have liked this to be better. This could be better. J2E, I'll move on to J2E now. So those were your tanks fighting with the airships. Naming way. So we saw them fighting the enemy airships. Alright, we'll say that's fine. So Giott responds, because he doesn't know about airships, says, Ho, ari wa hikute to mosuka. That means, oh, so those are called airships, huh? And kind of a fancy way of saying that. So those are called airships. Super NES. Ah, you call those flying things airships? J2E. Oh, so you call those things airships. Naming way. Airships? That's what you call them. Okay, next part is going to break the window. Let me get this prepped. It's real hard. Alright. Saying, Giott continues. Ue no sekai ni wa ano yona mono ga aru to wa. To think that there are such things in the world above. Super NES. You have strange things in the world above. J2E. Wow, the upper world has things like that. Naming way. The overworld is home to marvelous wonders. Well, they're calling the upper world the world above. It's not even like the proper term. Ue no sekai, that means the world above. That became overworld. And here, the overworld is home to marvelous wonders. I don't like how that's in there. Marvelous wonders seems weird. It's more just like things like that. Alright. Next line. So the king is still speaking. Jiman no sensha taimo sora kara kogeki sarete wa chito kurushi. Chito kurushi. So having our prized tank battalion be attacked from the sky is making things a little tough. Is a little tough, a little rough. ... Alright. So he's talking about like how he's having a hard time. His tanks are having a hard time. That line is missing in Super NES. J2E. We're really proud of our tanks, but they were hurting us badly with their attacks. This is just bad English right here, but it makes it feel like we're still talking about our tanks. But no, we're switching subjects. This is kind of some weird English writing problems there. We're really proud of our tanks, but they were hurting us badly with their attacks. Like being attacked from the sky is like the important part here. Yeah, I'm gonna mark off on J2E there. Being attacked from the sky or from the air is like the important thing there. And naming away, that line is just missing. Naming away has hit negative 600. Oh no. Alright. So he's saying like, oh, those things are giving us a tough time. So he now says, Soja, sonata tachi no hikute to yara de engoshite wa kurenuka. And he says, I know. Or how about this? Won't you provide engos, like backup, aid, assistance, right? Covering, protection, backing, relief. Won't you back us up with your airship or whatever? This Toyota, is it in there? Toyota. So he's still like uncertain about the name, so he calls it like those airships or whatever. Won't you support us with it? Super NES, would you support us with your airship? There's things missing in there. The bare bones stuff is in there though. I'll say it's fine. It's also a negative question, which would have been nice to have in J2E at least. Here they just say, would you assist us with your airship? But won't you assist us would have been better. It's minor, it's very minor. I don't care. Right. Naming way. Could your airship support our tanks? All these versions are kind of weak. It could be better. Sid responds, Sore ga saki no bougeki to fujichaku no sei de Chito bakari karechimattan desu wai. Whoa, he's speaking all kinds of crazy non-standard ways. He's saying, well, that's the deal, or that's just the thing. Those the cannon attacks earlier, plus our emergency landing, has caused the airship to get busted just a little bit. Super NES. I wish we could, but it has been greatly damaged from the last fighting and landing. Alright, I'll say that's okay. All that fun of his text is kind of missing though. J2E. Well, I'd like to help, but after that volley and crash, it isn't going to do anyone much good at all. Kind of weird. I'll say it's fine. He's being polite, by the way. He's being polite, but like very strange speaking in Japanese. Naming way. Wish she could, but she's pretty banged up after the crash. No, but also the the blast. The Holgeki is like the cannon attacks, bombardment, shelling, and Fujichaku. How does this thing do that? Like emergency landing, not necessarily a crash. He's not gonna say it crashed. Alright. Okay, we made it through, everyone. One last check. Hello everyone, who seems we got raided by a bunch of people. Hello everyone. We're about to get raided by Golbez. Alright. Everyone now turns to Sid. And then Giott continues. Shuri ni hitsuyou na mono nara yoi saseru ga. I could anything that you need for repairs, I could have readied for you, you know. It's kind of how that feels. He's offering basically. Supernius, do you need anything to do the repairs? I'll say that's fine. J2E, what do you need to fix it? This is getting a little further away. He's saying if you have anything you need, then I'll have it ready for you. Naming way, do you need anything for the repairs? So again, they're kind of all slightly missing something, but it's not a big deal. Sid continues, or Sid responds, Okyū shochi kurai wa dekiru jarou ga, shite no yogan no netsu ni wa sentai ga motan. So I should be able to do like the emergency patch-up repairs, but the hull, the hull of the ship won't stand up to the heat of the lava of the underground. The underground's lava. Okay, so in the easy type, they changed the word sentai. In this case, is like the hull of a ship. They changed that word to hikute, which is just the word for airship. So I could patch it up, but the heat of the lava of the underground will be too much for the airship, or just for airships in general. So they simplified it a tiny bit. Alright, Supernius. The airship won't last in the heat of lava. So this part about like Okyū shochi, emergency repairs, temporary repairs, that's missing in Supernius. J2E. I can make some temporary fixes with materials down here. But the body of the ship won't stand up to the heat of the underground, of the underworld for long. Would have liked the lava. The lava part is important, or the magma or whatever in J2E. Naming way. The first part about emergency repairs is missing, but then the airship won't last in the magma. Right. Next parts. Yeah, saying it won't last in the magma, as if the airship is going to go sit in the magma. It's the heat of the magma, not in the magma, but okay. I think I already marked off a point anyway. Okay. Sid continues. Chijou ni modori, misuriru de soko odokosanto. I'll need to return to the above world, upper world, and coat it with mithril. Soko, right. Soko's coating. Well, I guess we can't see it there. Alright, Supernius. I must go back to the upper world and wrap the body with mystic silver. So remember, they're trying to avoid the word mithril. So this is what the mystic silver is. So he's literally going to go to probably where you can get mithril. Mystic silver instead of that. Kind of, I'll say it's fine. Okay. J2E. I need to return to the surface to plate the hull with mithril. Alright, that's fine. Uh-oh. Naming way. I gotta go back to the overworld and wrap the hull in mithril. Alright. Then Sid finishes with Yosha, hitopashiri itte kuru kano. Says, well, I better. This one's probably like. I better like run and go and come back. Alright, I better go and come back then. In a very fun way in Japanese. I don't know how to translate it on the top of my head with the same character, but in the Super NES that just becomes see you later. I'll say it's fine. J2E, alrighty then, I'll get going. I'm gonna hope that alrighty then is not a reference. Here we go, naming way does pretty good. I'll be back in a jiff. Like, it's kind of like, alright, I better go, I'll be back in a jiff, is how the full line would probably come out. It does the best here. Alright. Alrighty then was in there all along. Let's continue. Sid is gonna leave the party, but before he does, Cecil stops him and shouts, Sid, Shido, Sid. Sid looks back. Nani, sugumodoru wai. Don't worry, I'll be back in no time. You're like, don't sweat it, I'll be back in no time. Awa pushite kaite kuru kara. Iko de mattorun jazo. So I'll power it up and be back. So wait for me like a good little boy, like a good kid, something like that. Alright. Super NES, this all becomes, don't worry, I'll come back soon. The power part about it, powering it up, is missing on Super NES. I would have liked that. J2E, what are y'all worrying about? I'll be back soon. Just sit tight and wait like good little children. Alright, that's closer to what I was saying there. A little off in some places, but it's all in there. It's all reflected, naming way. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Rosa walks up to Sid and says, "Kiotsukete, ... That means be careful, or take care, or something like that. Like be careful. It becomes take care in Super NES. Be careful, J2E. Naming way is take care. Then Sid goes, ho ho, Rosa. Washi ni horeru na yo. And he's doing a laugh like, ho ho, Rosa, don't fall for me now. Like, don't fall in love with me now. Horeru, to fall in love. Okay. It becomes, in Super NES, thanks, Rosa. So his, like, little joke is missing in there to get out of Super NES. J2E, ho ho, Rosa, don't be falling for me now. That's actually pretty close to the kind of feeling that the Japanese gives. Naming way. Heh. Now that I got you worrying Rosa, I will. It's weird. I'm gonna take off right there. Alright. The narration says, Shido to wakareta. So, you parted ways with Sid. Parted ways with Sid is how that goes. Super NES, Sid left. J2E, Sid left the party. Used to say Sid left your party. And then naming way, Chief Engineer Sid left. All different from this one simple phrase. That's just how translation is. Alright, the party refocuses on the king. Cecil says, Giotto o. So, King Giott. Kono shiro no cristalo wa ittai doko ni? Just where exactly is this castle's crystal? That becomes, in Super NES, King Giott, where is the crystal? I would have liked more. This crystal's castle. Or this castle's crystal. Oops. J2, King Giott, where is the crystal in this castle? I'll give it back on Super NES there, because naming way says King Giott, where's the crystal? It should be assumed by now that we're talking about the one here. Alright. What's changed in here? There's a space in the easy type. Then, okay. In Japanese, the King Giott responds, Nani o kakuso kono gyokuza no ura no kakushibeya ja. Believe it or not, It's in a hidden room behind this throne. Gyokuza is throne. It's kind of a fancy word. So in the easy type, I think they took that out. Yeah, it just says Nani o kakuso kono ura no kakushibeya ja. So they just took out the word throne there. Believe it or not, it's in the hidden room behind here. Super NES. It is hidden behind my throne. So that change doesn't match. So this doesn't match the easy type change. So we're starting to see a little divergence there, maybe. J2E. It's hidden in a secret room behind this very throne. Right. Naming way. Hidden behind my throne. This Nani o Kakuso makes it sound like he's kind of cocky about it. He's impressed by it. He's like, he wants to show off. Alright, so let me get all these ready. Alright, next line. これならば私の目の黒いうちは安全というわけじゃ。This is a strange phrase. I'm not familiar with that. All right. In this way, it will be safe under like my gazing eyes. Like it'll be where I can see. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I see. So in this case, or with things like this, it will be safe as long as I can see, as long as I still have sight, as long as I'm still around. The idea is, did they change that? No. Right. Super NES. As long as I am well, so is the crystal. So the whole point is in there. He's using kind of like an idiom, it sounds like, in Japanese. In J2E, I can just sit here and watch. Everything will be safe. I can just sit here and watch. Everything will be safe. That feels weird to me. And naming way says, as long as I'm well, so is the crystal. Alright, we'll say this one. Ying steps forward and says, exclamation mark. And it's in all versions. Okay. I keep saying Sid. Cecil turns to Yang and says, Dosta Yang. That means, what's the matter, Yang? Super NES, that becomes ... Yang. Take off that. It's like a sentence missing. Okay. J2E. What's wrong, Yang? Alright. Naming way just says, what's wrong? Took off Yang's name there, it's probably fine. Yang then says, Dareka, Nusumigiki Steru. Someone is listening in. Someone is eavesdropping. That's how that feels. Literally, someone is still listening. Super NES. I feel someone eavesdropping on us. J2E. Someone's there. Okay, that's not it. Naming way. Someone is eavesdropping. Everyone's dropping their eaves, I guess. All right. And Giott says, Nani Yatsu. And I was like, who goes there? Who is it? Nani Yatsu. Does that show up on there? Nah. Super NES says, what? Technically, it's closer to who. I'll say it's fine. J2E says, who? Naming way says, what? Then we see some weird dolls prancing in the background behind the throne. And now the guards do a twirl. And then Cecil says, Darimo inaizo. There's no one there. Kind of forcefully. There's no one there. Super NES, no one is here. J2E, nobody's here. No line and naming way, took off a point just now. Okay, Yang then says, Konosaki ni kehai o kanjita. Here's that Kehai again. We talked about that in like day 3, maybe? Kehai? If you remember that. It's good that I've been teaching these words. So he has sensed a presence of someone up ahead. I sensed someone up ahead. That's how that goes. I need a drink of water. I sensed a presence up ahead. That's how that goes in Japanese. Super NES, I felt someone sneaking around. Alright, let's say that's fine. J2E, I feel a presence here. Used to be in the past tense, closer to the Japanese. Naming way, my instincts are never wrong. Okay, took that off. Yeah, so how did the dolls even get in there? But then again, how did all of those airships get in through that sealed up hole, that sealed up crater? How did they do that? So let's just assume that Golbez used the mini spell, the miniature spell. I don't know. That's my only reasoning. All the guards are twirling, the king twirls. Giott shouts, Tobira wake, open the door. And the dwarf says, Lali, that means Lally. Super NES, open the door, Lally. J2E, open the door, Lally. Naming way, open the door. The dwarf lost his job in the naming way script. Too bad. The door will never open now. Okay. Dwarf does a secret move, and our party enters the secret doorway. Now we're in the crystal room, and we walk forward. But the door locks behind us. Kane rushes to the door and shouts, Akanai. That means it won't open, or it's locked. That becomes, in Super NES, it's locked. J2E, it won't open, in naming way, it's locked. Alright. To this, an unstated speaker says, Kya ho 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 ho. And that's like a funny laughter, slightly feminine possibly. Kya ho ho ho. This Super NES line makes it look like Kane is saying, Yip ho 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 ho. You can see the ho ho ho's have all been kept. But yip is what kya is from. Alright, so this is weird. This yip ho 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 makes this look like it's Kane's line, because there's no speaker line, there's no like quote mark. I would like there to be at least a quote mark here. I'm gonna assume that my programming has kept this text break here. Like we see that line here. There should maybe be one here. Let's assume that there's supposed to be one there. But then there's no denotion of the quote. I'm gonna mark off on that quote. J2E becomes kya ho ho ho. Okay, the same as the Japanese, but it's got the quote marks. That's good. Naming way copies the yip ho 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 ho, and I'll mark that off. Okay, there are 4 dolls in this room. These must be the dolls that Luca was talking about. Maybe Luca was in here, and her dolls were left here, and they became enchanted or something. That's all I can think of. All right, Cecil says question mark. And yeah, there's question mark everywhere. Then Rosa shouts, Ningyo ga, the dolls, or just like dolls, there are dolls or something. That in Super NES that becomes, oh, the dolls. J2E becomes the dolls, and naming way is ... dolls. The delivery on that naming way one's kind of weird. I could mark that off, but I won't. Alright. Purple magic lighting fills the air as these dolls now do spin and they hop around in place. They're doing a little dance. They're gonna like get all lined up, blocking the way to the crystal. They're still continuing their dance. There are now 4 dolls all lined up in front of us, vertically in front of us, or whatever. Alright. Now, there are 4 text boxes, or 4 text lines. None of them, we can just assume that each one is speaking individually. Bokura wa yoki na Calcobrena. So we are the yoki is like cheerful Calcobrena. I guess it could be a ghostly or unearthly or weird, but the feeling I get is like cheerful, like happy. We're the happy Calcobrena. Uses Bokura. Sometimes feminine characters will use Boku. The dolls look female, but maybe they're not. It's hard to say. Doll and they're dolls. I don't know. Alright. But anyway, so Bokura is how they identify themselves. Boku. Alright. So we are the cheerful Calcobrena. Kowakute kawaii ningyo-sa. We are the scary and adorable dolls. Then the third one says Bakame. That means like fools. You fools. Then the fourth one says Noko noko yate kuru kara sa. This is what you get for waltzing in here. Alright, so they're all talking there. It's not clear that each one is speaking individually in Super NES, but the formatting is in there, one line per line. So we'll see that this one is okay. Super NES. We're the Calbrina. So Calcobrena became Calbrina, I guess for text length purposes in battle. It's saying that we're the line about we're the scary and cute dolls is missing in Super NES. I'm gonna mark that off on Super NES. Oh no. Alright, Super NES then continues. You've doomed yourselves. Is there more? Alright. You've doomed yourselves. We're gonna get ya. This getcha is absolutely not from the first draft. This has to be second draft here. You fools is in that bakame. Noku noku yate kuru kara sa is probably you've doomed yourselves. This is what you get for just waltzing in here. We're gonna get ya isn't in there though. Alright, I see what's happening. Oh, I don't want to have to try to line all this stuff up. Let's just take off some points on Super NES here. Took off another point there. J2E. We're the Calcobrena. Our plastic faces, our cheerful smiling faces, hides the evil within? That's not even good English grammar. Faces hides the evil within? There should be faces hide. And they're calling us fools for just like waltzing in here. Alright, so plastic faces is not in there. Alright, I'm gonna mark off another on J2E just because it's weird. Oh no! It used. Oh yes! Guess what? We have some new fun. We have some new fun old J2E patch pop culture references. Alright. The new patch says, we're the Calcobrena, our plastic faces, our cheerful smiling faces, hides the evil within. However, the older patch used to say, we're the merry Calcobrena. That was correct. We're cute but scary dolls. That was also correct. Cabbage Patch meets the Manson family. What? Why, J2E? Alright. Then fools deliberately coming in here. So this Cabbage Patch line was added in. I won't mark off because it got removed. But you can see how they inserted that in there. There was the 4 before we're talking at first, and now there's 5 lines. So that addition was pretty weird. So Midnight Wonko says in FF14, the Calcas and the Brinas call themselves adorable dolls and terrible dolls. I guess separately. That's kind of neat. Alright, okay. Naming way. We're Calbrena. You fools, you've doomed yourselves. We're gonna get ya. Mark off 2 just like I did with Super NES. Alright, next part. 3 more lines from these. Kimira o taoshite Golbez sama no. So they're finishing their lines here. So one is setting up, we're going to defeat you and make you into Master Golbez's. Let's see how that goes. We're going to defeat you and into Master Golbez's. Temiyage is like, how's a good word for that? I don't want to say souvenir, but a present. We're going to make you a present. We're going to make you into a present for Master Golbez by defeating you. Well, that's how that kind of goes. But it's spread across 2 of their lines separately. Let's see how this goes. Super NES. We'll take this good news as presents to Master Golbez. What? It's weird. I'm mark off 2 on there. Alright, J2E. We'll kill you and bring your heads to Lord Golbez as trophies. That's the feeling I get, is like we're gonna be the actual presents that are given. I guess they decided the heads should be that. Kill you is pretty strong. We'll beat you or defeat you, but I'm gonna say this is all okay. Right. Naming way. We'll take your heads as presents to Lord Golbez. Okay. It looks like maybe they were pulling from something here. And then they have that final laughter. Kya ho ho, which was the yip ho ho. Looks like they still did 3 ho's in the Super NES. Yip ho ho ho. J2E kya ho ho is correct. Naming way. Yip ho ho ho. Is Po home? I need to talk to Po when she comes home. Alright. Oh yeah. Let me go talk to Po real quick. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Just telling her about the status of the dishwasher. Alright, okay, all this is okay to go. Next line. Cabbage Patch Manson family. Alright, so we have to do the fight with them now. Alright, let's look at them. We have Brina, is the red ones in there. So there's 6 dolls. 3 are red and 3 are blue. The red ones are in the front. And the red ones are Brina. Looks like they have less HP and easy type. Brina. They're all kind of spelled differently. As we saw, these names, they seem to be a reference to the Divine Comedy, specifically the Inferno from like 600 years ago. Let's see. Nothing more to look at on that. Let's look at these guys. The Calcos. Karuko is what they're called in Japanese. Less HP and easy type. They become Cal in Super NES, Calca in J2E, and Cal in Naming Way. Alright. So, is there like best tips for fighting these? Yeah, I did see that Food Fight is on Japanese Hulu, but unfortunately you can't VPN your way into it, I don't think. I forget what is the best way to handle these. Oh, does it work? I was told that VPNs don't work on Hulu because it's a separate service or something. Alright, if I kill all of one, the other turns into phase 2. If you kill both types together, they can't fuse. I'll probably want... Alright, I guess I'll just kill them all. I want to look at the fuse version, kill all of one type. Okay, thanks, Al. Oh, I poisoned one. So I've killed the 3 red ones. Now I'm waiting for them to fuse. Because they like fuse into a giant. Okay. A text box has appeared. Ningyo ga gattai suru. The dolls are fusing together, like combining into one. Super NES turned into Calcobrena. So it just kind of like gets around it just by saying what it is becoming. J2E. The dolls are combining. What did it used to be? The dolls combined. That would work too. Naming way. Turned into Calcobrena. Alright, now it's this big scary girl-looking doll, like very big, called Calcobrena. It's just a video game trying to figure out what this used to say. 4312 HP. Alright, weak to fire. Alright. Or used to, oh wait, an easy type is weak to fire. But maybe not in ours. That's the only version weak to fire. Alright. Hitomi is doing a special attack on us called Hitomi. Hitomi is like literally is the pupil of an eye, but a lot of times it's just like a fancier, like more nicer way of saying eye. Hitomi. So it's like just an eye. So in Super NES that becomes glance. In J2E we can see they looked up the very literal definition and found pupil of the eye. And the naming way became glance. Yeah, somehow you can like get it to turn back into all the dolls. Oh no, Rose is confused. What will she do? Let's see what nonsense she does. She has just used a bow on Yang. Bow on Yang. Yang died, no. Oh no, we're trying to teleport out of the battle, but it wouldn't work. Oh crap, doing protect. Oh no, did protect on the doll. Uh-oh, it's got holded. It got put on hold. I rose to normal again, but... Okay, let me do my first time using one of these special potions. Keep bashing away. Hopefully we'll get it. Oh, we got it. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that second one. Alright, 65,000 or 6,500 gil. That's how much those dolls cost, you guys. Got 5,000 experience. Cecil has leveled up. I hope he gets his spell. Does he get a spell? Nope. Rosa leveled up. She learned nothing. Alright, so we defeated them. The dolls are now saying each one line per doll, I guess. Yokumo yatta na. How dare you? And then the next one says, Itai yo, that hurts. The third one says, Demo kono basho wa hokokuzumi. But we've already reported this location. And then the fourth one is Kataki wa utte morao yo. We're gonna get revenge. We're gonna get avenged. Vengeance is gonna be ours. Someone's gonna avenge us. Alright. So those 4 lines. There's technically 5 lines. Let me do the next line. Golbez-sama, Master Golbez. Alright. In the Super NES, all 5 of those lines got squished down into 2. You'll pay for this. Our Master Golbez already knows this place. So, okay. The part about it hurts and I'm gonna get revenge on Super NES, so 2 points off there. J2E, damn you. Ow. But we've relayed this location to Lord Golbez, but it missed the whole point about getting revenge. Like the revenge is going to be given for them. Alright. Naming Way says, we lost, yet you're too late. Lord Golbez already knows of this place. Alright, so like, how dare you? Ouch. We've informed, we've already like reported on this place. I'll be nice on that one. And then we're gonna get revenged. We're gonna be revenged is missing. Alright. And then that last one is they're shouting his name. So this delivery needs to have Golbez at the end. They're calling his name as they die, and then he shows up. That's how this goes, this delivery. It should say Master Golbez. So Super NES doesn't have Master Golbez at the end. I would like that. J2E gets it. It's pretty good. And Naming Way doesn't get that. So someone in the chat is asking, where did they all get so bad? With Super NES and Naming Way, again, it's just a lot of missed text or cut out text. And J2E has been starting to add pop culture references. We just now saw a Manson family and a Cabbage Patch mention. We're gonna have some more nonsense coming up, so you'll see. And the dolls do a dance and disappear. Cecil shouts, Nani? And Super NES, what? J2E is what? And Naming Way is what? Then an unstated speaker says, Hisashiburi da na, ... It's been a while, ... In the Super NES, this becomes, it's not clear that this is an unstated voice. I would have liked that to be the case. I'm going to mark that off. Then it just says, well, Cecil. That's not what's being said. J2E, well, well, well. Mark that off. Naming Way, we meet again, Cecil. It doesn't need to be Cecil, because all those other party members are here too. Mark that off. Golbez has appeared. He's in the crystal room. He's like walking toward us now. Oh no. Okay, we have a bunch of text here. And, oh no, I'm looking at the J2E text box and it looks a lot bigger than the other text boxes. Cecil shouts, Golbez! Okay, we have an easy type change somewhere in there. Super NES, Golbez! Even has the delivery the same. J2E, the Golbez, also has the same delivery, and Naming Way has the same delivery. So as we see, anytime Cecil talks, Cecil's delivery seems to suddenly matter, while the delivery of other characters kind of just becomes hit or miss. In this case, he's kind of like taken aback, and then also emphatic at the end. Alright. Golbez then says, Senjitsu wa seiwa ni natta. I owe you for the other day. I really owe you for the other day. Daga, ano metio no tsukaite mo mou imai. So he's speaking in a cool, non-standard, kind of warrior way, I guess. I owe you for the other day. But the Meteor Wielder is no more. That's how that kind of feels. That Meteor Wielder is no more. Okay, there. Super NES. So remember, he says Meteor specifically. Super NES, you got me the other day, but now the old mage is gone. What did like the Meteor mention? Meteor really did a number on him. Oh no, J2E. Look who decided to show up. I really must thank you for the other day. How could you possibly know that I love having meteors dropped on my head? But now that old bastard is dead. Alright. Look who decided to show up. 1, 2, 3. The rule is anytime they add stuff unnecessarily, that's, it's like 2 to 3 I'll mark off, depending on how it feels. I really must thank you for the other day. Okay, so that little bit of sarcasm is in there. Senjutsu wa seiwa ni natta. That's fine. How could you possibly know that I love having meteors dropped on my head? Oh, J2E. 1, 2, 3. Alright. But now that old bastard is dead. I'll say that one's fine. Naming way. You may have beaten me before, but that old mage can't save you now. What did like the Meteor mention? I would have liked the sarcasm from before, like, I owe you for the other day, or you did something for me the other day. Seiwa ni naru. Doesn't show up in there. Okay. Alright, so there's that part. What do we have here? Alright. This next part is still Golbez talking. あの時の例に私がなぜクリスタルを集めるか教えてやろう。So, あの時の例に So as thanks for that time, I shall tell you why I am gathering the crystals. As thanks for that time, I shall tell you why I gather the crystals. So again, he's being like, he's saying that as thanks for what you did, I will now tell you. That little bit of like, I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, I don't know. Super NES listening. Oh no, J2E. Before I unmercifully and painfully slaughter you, wouldn't you like to know why I'm gathering the crystals? Alright, that first half is 1, 2, 3. He's just saying as thanks for them. Was that always in there? Oh, there used to be more in here. Alright, I'll say the old patch continued to say, the look on your faces says you would. Only now in the end will you understand. That whole section was added in on the original J2E patch, and that whole section got deleted in the new J2E patch. It was unnecessary. It would have lost some points, but they did a good job on catching that. Alright. Naming. Did I already mark off for that before I unmercifully and painfully slaughter you? Oh, naming way says, since you're all going to die, why don't I treat you to the tale of my master plan? Oh no, that's not what's happening. think on J2E I didn't take off those points. If I did, let me know. If I did, okay. Put it back. Alright, next part. In Japanese. Hikari to yami awasete yatsu no kristaru. The dark, or the light and the dark crystals put together, there are 8 in all. Something like that. There are 8 crystals together, dark and light together. Something weird like that. Oh no, is he gonna drag this part out? So the 8 crystals in total of the light and dark. Sore wa fuin sarashi tsukie no michi. Babuiru no to o fukatsu saseru kagi nano da. So the 8 crystals in all, the light and the dark, they are the key to reviving the Tower of Babel, Babuiru, which is the path to the moon that is sealed away. That's how that all goes. I could reconstitute all that, but I'll try not. I'll try to move forward faster. Super NES. All the crystals, both light and darkness. I should say all 8. Would have liked that 8 in there. Let's mark that off. Okay, all the crystals, both light and darkness, are the keys to reactivate the Tower of Babel that leads to the moon. Right. Reactivate. But it doesn't say that the path is sealed. Would have liked that detail. J2E. I should point out that this is not hearsay. He's just stating this fact. He's not saying hearsay. So J2E has hearsay. I'll mark that off already. It is said that when all 8 crystals of the earth, both the light and the darkness, are gathered, the way to the moon will open. Would have liked that to be a sealed path. Maybe it's like the serpent or the devil road. Maybe it's kind of like it's sealed in that way. Alright. Naming way. All 8 crystals. Do we get 8 crystals in there? Okay. All 8 crystals are the key to activating the Tower of Babel, the gate to the moon. It's the path to the moon that is sealed, so I'll mark that off. And it's Fukatsu Saseru, which is to like revive or restore, not just activate. I won't mark off on that. It's kind of, that'd be kind of weird to do that. Oh no. Let's see what J2E is up to. Next line. Sore wa fuin sarashi tsuki no michi blah blah blah. Okay, I already said that. Tsuki ni wa wareware no jinchi o koeta chikara ga aru toyu. Okay, here we go. Here's some hearsay. It is said that on the moon there exists a power that exceeds our jinchis, like knowledge or comprehension. Let me go to that jinchi. Human knowledge and understanding, yeah, beyond human understanding. So it is said that on the moon there is a power that goes beyond human comprehension, beyond human understanding. Alright. J2E. Way to the moon. Wait a minute, let me go to Super NES. It is said, oh good, the hearsay is in there. The moon possesses powers beyond human comprehension. Ooh, really like that. Super NES did good. J2E. Way to the moon. That line shouldn't be in there from Cecil. J2E. Unimaginable power awaits there. So the hearsay is missing. I would have liked the details of that hearsay. That's like some of the most important lines. Like, why are we going to the moon? I don't know. Alright. Naming way. It is said the moon possesses powers beyond human comprehension. Okay, good. Next line. Golbez continues. Kono kristalu de nanatsume. This crystal makes the 7th. With this crystal I have 7th. This I have the 7th now. Let me go to... I would have liked... Okay, Super NES just says... that line is actually missing on Super NES. Super NES just hit negative 600. Oh no! Alright. J2E. Oh, what the heck, J2E? Oh, there's still so much more, and J2E just screwed it all up. Okay. Alright, I want to come back to J2E in a second. Alright, I would have liked... None of these versions mention that he has now the 7th. Like, knowing the number is, like, really helpful. Mark off the 7th on there, J2E, and on naming way. Then he says, Nokosu tokoro ato hitotsu to natta wake da, which means that there's only one more remains. Super NES, and there's only one more crystal to get. If this line had been in there, this next line would have made more sense, because now, like, it sounds like he can get that last one if he just walks upward. So Super NES, I'll mark you off there. J2E, you're kind of wonky. Mark off that, because you don't have it. Naming way. The last crystal remains. Alright, I'll say that's fine, but then it says, and soon it will be mine. That's not in there. Alright. Kore mo kimi tachi no okage da. This too is all thanks to all of you. It's thanks to you people. This too is thanks to you people. That becomes, you've been very helpful. So take that off just because it's not clear who he's speaking to anymore. J2E, you're going crazy, but you didn't write that in there. Oops. Alright. That he's thanking us. He's thanking all of us, basically, with that line. And Super NES, I took off a point because that U is not clear if it's plural or singular. I took that off. I took off a point on J2E just because the line was missing. And in naming way, that line is missing. Alright. Next part. So he says, Kono de mo shinakereba shitsurei da na. So it would be rude of me not to thank you for this too. That line is missing in Super NES. That line is missing in J2E. Alright, I see what's happening. Naming Way is doing something weird here. But there's a line in here that says, a pity you won't live to see my glorious rule. That's not in there, and I would say that's a 3-pointer off. Alright. Then he says, Uke tore, take this. Kore ga watashi kara no saigo no okurimono da. This is my final gift. This is the final gift from me. That becomes, receive your last reward. Receive your last reward in Super NES. I'll say that's fine. J2E, that's not in there. And then the naming way. Naming way says da da da. And since you've been so very useful, I'll take a point, restore a point on that. Take this, your final reward. Alright, I'll say that's fine. Alright, so now we have to go back to J2E. A bunch of those lines were taken out, and instead, he now says, to think I could become a deity, but, of course, you stand in my way. So that's 2 made-up lines. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the deity stuff was wrong in there from the very start. And also they spelled deity wrong anyway from the very start. Alright. In the easy type, they changed the word jinchi, like human knowledge, to sozo, to the imagination. So it is said that the moon has power that exceeds our imagination. Jinchi is kind of a fancy word. Alright. If you're curious, after this latest Golbez beating, Supernius is at -603, J2E is at -581, and Naming Way is at -628, 626. Last reward? Oh yeah, last reward. Alright. You have to fight Golbez now. Get Kane out of there. Come on, you can do it. Go Kane. Alright. Kane has left to jump into the air. That's good. This will make this fight a little easier. Golbez now says in the battle, ha, 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 which is actually just a very basic, finally a simple basic evil laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Super NES, that becomes ha, 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 all caps. J2E, ha, ha, ha. Would have liked the delivery to be better on that ha, ha, ha. We used to say ha, ha, ha. Is that... in Naming Way becomes mwahaha, the very generic English evil laughter, mwahaha. I wonder why mwahaha has that generic evil laughter for us. What caused this? What is the cause behind this? Why do we see it that way? While we're here, I'm looking at Golbez's stats. Let's look at the stats. He 1000 HP was removed from him in the Super NES. Also, Naming Way, we can see that they didn't make it match the original Japanese. We've already noticed that mistake. These stats in Naming Way, and thus probably Project 2, aren't 100% reliable anymore. Like, if it's supposed to be a reflection of what FF4 players were getting, we've already seen 2 examples in just today alone where these numbers are off. Alright. Then Golbez says, "Kore ga omae tachi no chikara ka." So this is your power. And your is plural, so this is the power of all of you. This is your guys' power. ... Super NES, that becomes, is that it? J2E, is that your best? Naming Way, is that all you got? With exclamation and a question. Like, all we did was have King jump. Really? Alright. Then Golbez says, "Shibaraku otonashiku shite ite morao." I'll have you behave nice and quietly for a while. Something like that. I will have you quiet down for a while. In the Super NES, that becomes now, ... exclamation. That's pretty weird. J2E, how about you stay still for a few. Naming Way says now. Then we have, he's doing an attack on us. The Jubaku no Deiki. That means like the cold air of binding or something like that. Jubaku, like a curse or a spell, and Deiki is like cold chill, cold weather, cold wave, cold air. Sometimes you'll see, like, outside of Japan, Reiki mentioned as like a healing, like a sort of like exotic mysticism healing thing. But it's just cold air, cold stuff. This becomes hold gas in Super NES, so if you see this, you must now hold your gas, everyone. In J2E, this became curse aura for some reason. And then, I guess the aura makes sense. And where is it on here? Yeah, that Reiki down there, you can see it, the healing method. It's like spirit energy. I guess what that Reiki is. Anyway, hold gas, curse aura, and hold gas. I'm going to say all three are wrong because it's all pretty funky. Alright, so we have now had the hold spell cast on us, which makes us all like unable to do any attacks or anything. Golbez then says, Ugokenu karada ni nokosareta hitomide. So, hitomide. Yeah. So with your, now that you're unable to move your bodies, and all you can do is see, that becomes wait till you see and Suprinius. That till is so weird. That's not what Golbez would say. J2E. I'm going to shut you up for good. Okay. He used to say in your motionless state. I would say in your incapacitated state if you're going to do motionless. Naming way. Witness true terror. I'm going to be nice on this one. This one, trying to get all this text in these little boxes. I gotta have some wiggle room for them. So with your eyes, Shin no kyofu ajiwao gai. Taste true fear, taste true terror. Okay, Supernia says the real terror. It's the first draft funkiness, but I'll say it's fine. J2E. Oh, I can taste your fear. This is not right at all. This is totally a mistranslation. You got mistranslated there, Golbez. I'm sorry. Golbez is going to come for you, J2E. You better look out. You've been messing with their text, with Golbez's text. He's coming for you. Naming way. I call upon darkness. Take that off. Okay, Golbez says, Maide Kokuryu. That means come forth, Black Dragon. Kind of a cool way of saying that. And then the Super NES, that becomes Mealtime Shadow. I guess this dragon's name is going to be Shadow. It just says come forth also. It doesn't say mealtime. J2E, come Black Dragon. It could be Dark Dragon too, Dark Dragon. I don't remember what they're called in Mother 3, the Dark Dragons. Are they called the Kokuryu? Can't remember. Come Black Dragon, J2E. Mealtime Shadow Dragon. I'll be nice and give points back on that. Okay. He's summoning a monster. He's doing a summon. So somehow Golbez has the ability to summon. What does that mean? Is he a summoner? Is he from the land of summons? Alright, so fun trivia, the Black Dragon gives you 5,000 experience in USA/easy and 1 in Japanese. But you can't beat him anyway, I don't think. Alright. So there's Dark Dragon now on the screen as we are motionless. The dragon now does Kuroi Kiba, which means like Black Fang. That becomes Demolish in Super NES, take off that. It's Blue Fang in J2E. I'm going to mark that off because that could mean blue. And then Demolish in Naming Way. Aha. Kane has just rejoined from the air. He tries to hit Golbez but misses. But he is now going to be free of targeting, probably. So he might not get killed. Alright, Golbez says, Seshiru. Yeah, so Rosa's now dead. Only Cecil and Kane are alive. Seshiru, tsugi wa omae da. Cecil. Next is you. That becomes Super NES. And you, Cecil. J2E. Cecil, you're next. And then Naming Way. Farewell, Cecil. His delivery is off there. Okay. But suddenly something happens. Another summon is happening. And a mist dragon appears out of nowhere and does the mist breath. Some somewhat okay damage to Golbez and to the dragon. The dragon died. Heck yeah. I mean, the dark dragon died. Kane can now jump. Golbez says, the dragon, ... The dragon. Okay, that becomes a Supernius. That mist with a capital M, which makes it sound like it's the town of Mist. I want to mark off on that. Blew my. That mist blew my. And J2E says, the dragon. And then Shadow, or naming way says Shadow was ... So I think he's talking about the dragon that just appeared. So Shadow was doesn't feel right here. Yeah. Then it says, he continues by saying, Kokuryu o kiri no chikara de keshisaru to wa ... The dragon. To think that it would, like, keshisaru is to, like, just exterminate, to get rid of, to erase. To think it would get rid of my black dragon with the power of mist. ... Supernius, shadow dragon away? I'll say it's fine. J2E, that mist defeated my shadow dragon. Sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to say the dragon's breath are, you'll die, but so will I. I don't know why it was saying that. That's pretty weird for them to say. Naming way, destroyed by mist? Say that's fine. There's a lot going on in this little battle. Suddenly we're healed from our hold gas state. An unstated speaker with question mark says, Daijoubu, mo ugokeru wa. And this wa is like a feminine particle. So we can already kind of tell that whoever's speaking, whoever this question mark is feminine or is a female or a girl or something. And Daijoubu also kind of lends it slightly that way too. Mo ugokeru wa, so it's like, it's okay, you can move now. Supernia says, you can move now. And that falls out, the wa falls out, unfortunately, in translation. J2E, don't worry, you can move now. I would have said it's okay, you can move now. And then the naming way just says, you can move now. And it's only one question mark on there. They're really trying to fight for space in naming way. You can move now, we'll say that's fine. But again, if you're playing in Japanese, you would have understood immediately. You probably would have got a hint. First, you have a dragon coming out of nowhere, and it was the mom of Rydia. And now there's a woman or a girl speaking. All right. And then Cecil says, Sono koe wa ... That voice. Supernius, who is it? Question mark. J2E. That voice, ... Naming way, that voice, ... Question mark, exclamation. That doesn't need to be there. If you want to save space, you can take that out. Cecil gets back up. Suddenly, Rydia runs in and joins the party out of nowhere. And she's still weak, but she looks way different now. She looks more grown up. She's got some cool looking robes on, even. Oh no, we're getting bioed. Now I have some healing I gotta do here. Yeah, I unfortunately have front row Rydia. But it doesn't matter for like spells though, right? I'll just do this. Alright, I think we're doing okay. I have to do actual fighting here now. Oh. And then Golbez says, watashi ga makeru to wa, to think that I would lose, dot dot dot. Unfortunately, I missed what that line was just now. Let me look. I can find it on my thing. Watashi ga make. All right. 80. All right. And let's see. In FF2 US, that becomes why. I'll say that's fine. J2E modern, this can't be. I'll say that's fine. Old J2E, I've lost. Naming way, why? All right, I'll say those are all okay. I had to do that the weird way. All right. I was worried I was going to have to do a full fight there. I forgot. All right, Golbez had 11,000 gold on it. Gil. So I guess in the 3D version, that battle is real hard. All right. I remember losing a couple times there. All right. 5,000 experience. Kane has leveled up. Cecil has leveled up. If he gets his level here, if he gets his final magic here, that would be so great. He learned it! Yay! Here we go. He learned Esuna. He learned his final spell after defeating Golbez. That becomes Heal and Super NES and Esuna and J2E namely. Rydia has leveled up. She learned nothing. I mean, if Golbez had just like held on a little longer, we would have been so dead. All right, so Cecil says, Taushita, Golbez o Taushita zo. We beat him. We beat Golbez. All right, that becomes, we did it. We've defeated Golbez in Super NES. J2E, we defeated him. We defeated Golbez. Naming way, we did it. We defeated Golbez. All right, all good. Golbez lies on the ground. He looks dead. Oh, big old text box appears. Alright, I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to do another quick bathroom break. There's going to be a lot of stuff to do here. I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to do the secret trick where we get the crystal anyway. Let me go to here. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I should be back. Alright, so I would like to stream for about 20 more minutes to 30 more minutes at most. I don't think we're gonna get to the underground developer room today, but definitely tomorrow. Alright, so the party is now Cecil, Yang, Rosa, and Kane. And they now are looking at Rydia. Rydia looks grown up. And behind Rydia is Golbez's dead body. Alright. Rosa says, Rydia, anata no okage yo. That means, Rydia, it's all thanks to you. Super NES, that became all because of your help, Rydia. That's fine. J2E, thanks to you, Rydia. What? Then J2E also says, you're so different. No. She doesn't say that, so I'm taking off the point of J2E here. Namingway says, Rydia, you saved our lives. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Or more like, it's thanks to you that we were able to defeat Golbez. Yeah, because that was just in response to what Cecil said. We defeated him, so I'm gonna take off the point of Namingway there. Alright. Cecil says, Demo, sono sugata wa, but your form, the way you look, your appearance, what is that appearance of yours? So that goes. Super NES, what happened to you, Rydia? It's not clear that he's referring to her appearance, so I'm taking off the point there. J2E, how, why, when, you grew up? So he's basically saying, but why do you look like that? I'm taking off 1, 2, there. I'll just 2 there. Alright. Namingway, you're older now. Okay, it's the appearance. The appearance thing. Alright. Okay, and Rydia now says, Iwaya-san ni nomikomarete genkai ni tsurete ikareta no. So I was swallowed by Leviathan, and then I was taken to the Genkai. And as we have learned, the Genkai is what the land of the summoned monsters is called. This is the formal term for it, the Genkai. The Genju no Sekai, basically, the world of the Genju, of the summoned monsters. Let's see. In the Super NES translation, they never really do that well. Alright. Super NES. Leviathan swallowed me and took me to the land of the summoned monsters. This needed to have been land of the summoned monsters and needed something snappier. Like in Genkai, it's just 4 characters here. It's really nice. But this is a mess. Land of the summoned monsters. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm trying to think of like, what is a phrase like Genkai, once you know the context of, summoned monsters in the game, it's pretty clear that Genkai is the Genju's world. We need something similar in English, and I was trying to think of equivalents, and some that come to mind is like Summonia. Gives an idea that it's summon related. It just needs to be clear that it's summon related, just from the name. Okay, so it took me to the land of summon monsters. All right. J2E. When I was swallowed by Leviathan, he took me to the Phantom world. Yeah, in the 3DS version, or the DS version, I keep saying 3DS, I'm sorry. They went with Fey March, but that's because they go for the much higher fantasy style writing. But unfortunately, that takes stuff out of the realm of understanding, normal understanding, when you when you use really fancy words like that. So unless the summons were already called Fey or something like that, it wouldn't have made much sense. Okay, so it looks like J2E goes with Phantom World. I think they've been slightly inconsistent with it. What do we got here? Alright. Let's see, Namingway. When Leviathan swallowed me, he took me to the Fey March. Land of the Eidolons. Yes, this is what I was hoping for. It gives this funky new word that's hard to understand, but it defines it. And this is the best way to introduce new terminology, especially if you've invented it for a translation. You need to introduce it properly. And when we talk to the King of Baron under the ground, like his ghost, he just said, "Find me at the Fey March," but he technically had said this instead. That was my problem with that line back then. Also, back in Misc, after we got the airship, this name should have been used in one of the NPCs, but it was not, I think. Alright. So when Leviathan swallowed me, he took me to the Fey March, land of the Eidolons. Okay, very good naming way. Give you a point on that, and there you go. It's kind of more of an advanced technique that was done there. Alright. Next line. Genkai. So Cecil's saying Genkai, so he's responding back with Land of the Summoned Monsters is what that would say. But that sounds kind of weird when in English when we just repeat back like that. So he says, "Took you where?" That's really good. I kind of like that too. Super NES will get a point on that. Alright, J2E. Leviathan? A phantom beast? No, that's wrong. Sorry, J2E. Alright. Cecil's line is missing in naming way. Take off that point. Okay. So Cecil is basically saying Genkai. Rydia says Genju Tachi ga sumu sekai yo. So we're redefining it again. So this makes it extra strong. So that it's the world where the summoned monsters live, where the Genju live. It's the world where they live. Super NES. It's the world where all the summoned monsters live. Okay, that's good. J2E. Oh no! J2E, no! Why? No! Alright, we're gonna go through this little by little. Rydia now says, "Oh, I can remember how terrified I was." Right? It's not in there. Alright, yeah. They're making up stuff. "Oh, I can remember how terrified I was. 1, 2, 3. I couldn't even scream. 1, 2, 3. But he spoke to me telepathically. 1, 2, 3. It's taking a while for my clicks to activate because these text boxes are so big. He told me to be brave. 1, 2, 3. J2E has hit negative 601, so what we get is so the Esper World FF6 is the Genju Kai. It's not the Genkai, but it's the same idea. A lot of people talking in there. I can't keep up with all this crazy stuff. Alright, I need to check ahead because now it's getting kind of crazy. Alright, I've looked at the full Japanese line here. Alright. He told me to be brave. Their world is so different. 1, 2, 3. The Phantom Beasts befriended me and trained me in black magic. Alright, okay. Did I already mark that point off? The Phantom Beast befriended me and trained me in black magic. Did I already mark this point off? There's so much going on right now, it's crazy. We'll have to wait for the chat. Let me know if I took that off already. I don't want to mark them off more than I already have. No? Alright. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Alright. I think we're done with that part of Crazy J2E. Alright, I'm gonna give J2E some points back because of the befriending me part. It says they became friends for me. Alright. They didn't train you in black magic, okay. Alright. Land of the Eidolons. Time flows differently. Alright, so the next part I have to read. It's going to break the text line. So, そこでgenju tachi ga tomodachi ni natte kureta no. So there, the summoned monsters became my friends. Alright, so I'm looking to see if friends is there. No, okay. Yeah, so she says that they became her friends there, but not in Super NES. In J2E, the Phantom Beast befriended me, so I added that point back. But then this extra part I already marked off for that part. That part is missing in naming way. Alright. Here we go. 白魔法は使えなくなったけど、その分召喚と黒魔法の腕は上がったわ。So I can no longer use white magic, but to make up for that, or for that same amount, my skills with summoning and black magic have improved. So for as much as I lost, I've gained also. Also, technically, I think in the data, she does have white magic. She did gain some white magic spells, but you can never use them, right? Is that how that works? Alright. Super NES. I can't use any more white magic, but I increased my powers as caller and user of black magic. The grammar here could be better, but I'll say it's fine. Okay, J2E. I can't use white magic anymore, but my summoning power increased tenfold. Okay, well, she's talking about black magic and summoning. Also, tenfold isn't in there. Mark those off. Alright. Alright, this part is missing a naming way. Alright, then she says, でも、限界はこことは時間の流れが違って。But, the land of the summoned monster, the land of summoned monsters, the time flows differently than it does here. But the time flows differently in the land of monsters than it does here. ... She hasn't finished her sentence yet. Super NES. There, the time flows differently. Alright. J2E. The time flow in the Phantom world is different. Naming way. Time flows differently there. So I grew up. This I grew up part technically isn't in there, but I'll say it's fine. Oh, wait a minute, I see. Okay, I'm going to take that part off because that is, Rosa says that part. Next line. Rosa then finishes her sentence, Sorede otonani? And that made you an adult? Super NES. Is that why you look all grown up? Okay. Rosa and J2E says, and that's why you've grown up this fast. I guess so. And yeah, and Rosa is supposed to say this part in naming way, but they truncated stuff down. I already took off a point, so I won't take off another point there. Kane then says, Seshiru konoko wa, I mean, Cecil, who is this girl? Who is she? He's specifically speaking to Cecil here. Who is she? I would have liked the Cecil mention in there. J2E. Cecil, who is she? It's in there. Right here, it looks like it says Buddha. Boodia. Right. And the naming way, who's she, Cecil? Okay, Cecil then says, Misto no Mura no Rydia da. Rydia of Village of Mist. Super NES. She's the girl we found in Mist. Doesn't mention her name. That's not a good introduction. J2E. It's Rydia from the Village of Mist. Okay, good. Naming way. Believe it or not, this is the little girl we found in Mist. Oh, I would have just used that space for the name. I want her name in there. Kane says, Ano kodomo? That child? Super NES. The child? J2E. That child? Naming way. That child? Good point. Someone's asking, has Kane been feeling any guilt for his part in the Misty Valley Massacre? The MVM for short. I don't know. I feel like he has a lot of other things on his mind too, with all the Rosa stuff maybe, being brainwashed, but who knows? Alright, Yang says, Kore wa odoraita. Now this is a surprise. Super NES, amazing. Whoa, J2E says she's grown into. For Kane, that line wasn't in there originally. J2E's getting kind of weird. Like, talking about her a lot. Like, I remember reading that thing a few days ago. Really talking about how they added stuff about Rydia. The J2E people added stuff about Rydia. Sort of exploring her precociousness and how did she grow up emotionally as much as she did physically or not? So they kind of added a lot of Rydia stuff in. That's what we see here. And Yang says, from a child into a beautiful woman. So he's like judging her, but that's nothing like that. He's just saying, what a surprise. That's pretty weird. I'm going to take off 2 or 3 on that. And then naming way, Yang says, amazing. Alright. Cecil then says, Demo, naze boku tachi o? But why did you verb us? I mean, so basically, why did you save us? Boku wa kimi no kasan o. I verbed your mother. That sounds like a good insult. I verbed your mother last night. Alright, but he's basically saying, why did you save us? I killed your mother. Super NES. But why? Your mother? Alright, that's fine. Oh wait, but why? It doesn't make sense. Like, why did you save us? Why did you help us? Why did you become a child? Why did you become an adult? Would have been weird. Okay, J2E. Rydia, why are you helping us? Your mother, Alright, I can see what they're going for. That's pretty good. Naming way. But Rydia, it's all my fault, your mother. I would have liked this. Naze boku tachi o. Why did you verb us? And take that off on naming way. Rydia then says, Iwanaide, like emphatically. Don't say that. Don't talk about that. Don't talk. It becomes stop that in Super NES. Oh no, okay, I better read this whole thing because J2B's going wacky. Iwanaide, genkai no jou-sama ni iwareta no. The queen of the summoned world told me that ima moto okina unmei ga ugoiteiru te. That a greater, even bigger fate is moving right now, is active right now. Like an even bigger destiny is afoot now. Alright. I became in Super NES. Stop that. The queen there told me the greater power of evil is at work. Unmei's power of evil is interesting. Alright, we'll just say that's fine. Power of evil is pretty weird. That would get you marked off probably. on something. Alright. J2E. Cecil, if you only knew what I have learned since then. Okay, that's made up. The Queen of the Phantom World told me of a great evil at work. Okina Ume. I don't know. Alright, I will just say it's fine. Naming way. Cecil, enough. What happened that day was out of our hands. That part's not in the original text. Besides, Queen Asura, okay, who she's named but shouldn't be, told me a great evil is at work here. Man, Okina Ume. We'll say that's fine across all of them. It's pretty weird though. What is this going on in this crazy thing? I'm scared to look too deep into J2E here. I think we're probably going to finish the stream after this part, okay. Atashi tachi ga tachimuka wa nakucha ikenai tte. She said that we must stand up to it. That we must confront it. ... Alright, Super NES. We must confront it together! Exclamation. I'll say that's fine. J2E. I must stand up and be counted among the righteous. That's made up. Okay, that got made up, and also that we must confront it. That line is missing. Alright, naming way. And we must stand together against it. Alright. And Cecil says, Rydia, ... exclamation. And that's in the Super NES. J2E says, I'll fight with you. That wasn't in there. I'll say it. I'll restore that point there. But Cecil doesn't have the line in there, so I'll take that point off. Alright. And then naming way, Cecil says, Rydia. Would have liked better delivery there. Alright. Now, narration text says, Shoukanshi Rydia ga nakama ni natta. The summoner Rydia has joined the party. Super NES. Caller Rydia joined. J2E. Summoner Rydia joined the party. And naming way, Summoner Rydia joined. Alright. Alright. Just as we're about to leave the room turns magically dark again. And a voice says, Watashi wa shinanu. I do not die. And die, they probably won't want that word in there for Super NES, so it goes, I do not perish. Although perish actually goes kind of cool with Shinanu here. It's an alternate negative form of Shinu. So perish is pretty good. I like that. J2E. Although it would have been nice to have those quotes here. I won't mark off on those quotes there. J2E. I will not die. See, that's fine. Naming way. I will not die. We walk back to Golbez's dead body. Golbez flashes away, but he became a giant hand with 4 fingers, it looks like. The giant hand is coming at us. We step back. Now the giant hand is twirling around, is swiveling around. Now it's going for the crystal. Uh-oh. It's gonna get the crystal. Cecil rushes, but it's too late. The giant hand has the crystal and vanished. Darn it, why didn't we have the giant hand crystal stealing spell all along? Alright. Cecil shouts, Shimatta, Cristaruo. That means something like, crap, the crystal. Pronoun verb, the crystal. Which kind of, I guess you could translate as like, oh no, he took the crystal. Super NES goes with, oh my, he took the crystal. J2E, he took the crystal. The Shimatta. How's this thing? Damn it. That would have been a good time for them to put a swear in there. Naming way, he took the crystal. All right. The party? Oh shoot. What time is it? No, I can't do this part right now. Ah, crap. Wait. I think I saved it at just the right time, so when I come back tomorrow, this will all still load up properly. Yeah, I'm save stating here. I want to save it because there's a lot of text right here. Alright. So, this is where I'm going to end for today. And we'll come back tomorrow, at the same time tomorrow. And we'll finish up this scene. Then we'll look around all of the castle. And then we will do the developer room. We'll go through the Japanese developer room. Which is good because there was a scan I wanted to get from a magazine. Okay, so if you're curious, the current score is negative 612 for the Super NES. J2E is at negative 620, and Naming Way is at negative 641. So J2E took a lot of hits there with all of that nonsense that was added for Golbez and Rydia. Meanwhile, Naming Way and Super NES having their usual troubles. We'll see how this continues. Like, we're going to see a lot more of Golbez coming up. We're going to see a lot more of Rydia. Just wait till we get to Edge. Who knows what craziness will happen on J2E. That's it for today. Hope you guys will check out tomorrow. And also, if you missed it, please check out the intro for this stream. We looked at some stuff. It was kind of cool. I guess that'll be it. I'm gonna go now. Bye, everyone.